back again. More flying. Because I won't have Checkride for a little while again, unfortunately. That is why. Haha. Well, actually, let me check the sound. This and where is it? Where is it? There it is. And blah. So we're gonna start at tree Yankee tree. Oh wait. There sound. Perfect. Okay. Okay. So there's three whys. Because it's gonna take a little bit for scheduling things, which again is fine. It's gonna be fine. First it was too soon, and now it's too far away. But it'll be good, and I'll be happy to have the time because I had a big weekend this weekend for soloing. Did 4 days in a row, and it was interesting. There was good, there was not so good. But I survived and learned a lot, and I'm looking forward to doing more and keeping on polishing everything. So, I definitely put the time. Okay. Ooh, that's unfortunate. All right. So, oh yeah, and I think, whoa. It's like an aesthetic shot. All right, let us fix track IR. Okay. Yep. Boop. Sure. Ba-ba-da-ba-bum. Um, and let us check our meter. Oh, that's what I was going to have up. Shoot. You know what? We're just gonna be okay with this one. This one. No. Actually, we'll use Foreflight. Yay! It's actually horrendous weather, I think. I don't know if you can just make sure that there's nothing that you can. Do you see all the blue? Can you see all the blue? I don't know if you can see all the blue. There's a lot of blue. Let me get Sky Vector up because there's also what is it called? A Notum? I think. Yeah, I think it's. Nope, sorry, Airmet. That's what I'm saying. Sorry. An Airmet. I knew it was one of those things that I need to know. For icing. But. Okay. More details. Weather. Okay. Some Perry Muni is apparently nearby. Is it that one? This one says it's closest, so. Well, but Des Moines is closer. I'm confused. That doesn't make any sense. Oh, whatever. Okay. Meter now. We'll just go with Des Moines, I guess. Yeah, it's right there. So it's windy, but the ceiling is high, so should be all right. This doesn't look that high. So I don't know how to check that. I guess fine. I'll just use the one in the game. That's not one. That doesn't work. That doesn't work. There it is. Okay. So yeah. So here we go. We'll go ahead and read this. So for Des Moines, K is United States. Delta Sierra Mike. The second of the month at 0254 Zulu. The wind is from 010 degrees, 19 gusting to 23 knots. 10 statute miles of visibility. It's broken at 11,000. Overcast at 13,000. Temperature is -7. Dew point -14. Altimeters tree 0 tree. Remark is AO2 differentiates between precipitations. Peak wind is 360 degrees at 26 knots. Maybe? Sea level pressure is 248. And I think that's supposed to be, would that make sense if it was inches, no, not inches mercury, millibars, 1024.8. I'll have to look that up again. And temperature is that, and I don't know what this means. So yeah, we tried. Okay, so ceiling, visibility, and rather windy. But we're going to try it. It was windy today. I was supposed to have a lesson today. And it was too windy. Alas. We had a windy day last week, and it was actually a lot of fun. We hovered and flew backwards. It was amazing. All right, so we would actually not leave. I would not be flying in this. But we're going to try so that I can get some practice with it. What was I doing? I need the web. Boop. Boop. So there's the chart supplement for winter set. Just kidding, that's the ACS. We're going to do ACS stuff today. So look at this. Okay. It is very blue. It is moderate ice. You can see mod ice. Moderate icing. Okay. Can I move this closer to me? Nope, I can't. Okay. Air Met Zulu. So Zulu for freezing. For ice and freezing level, valid until the 2nd at 0900. Air Met Ice. From blah 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 blah. I don't. Oop. So yeah. So I'll zoom out because this is on Sky Vector. We'll see where it's at. Look at that. However, since, where was the thing? Moderate ice between the freezing level and flight level 19,000 or 190. Freezing level is from the surface to 8,000. Conditions continuing beyond 09 Zulu through 15 Zulu. Outlook valid for 0900, 1500. Bounded by blah blah blah. Moderate ice. Okay, so yes, so there's potential for freezing. However, well, I mean, these look a little bit closer, but the ceilings are high. So we should be okay. I think. So we're going to go with that. And if we need to adjust the weather, we'll go ahead and do that. Because you know what? I'm taking off the snow because every time I actually fly. No, I wasn't supposed to start on the runway because I wasn't. Okay. We're going to take the snow off because every time I have landed somewhere or gone somewhere, not that. In real life, it is plowed so you can actually see things. So I don't know if there could be like a plowed runways situation, but it displeases me. I don't need that much. You know what? We're gonna do like two. I don't like that. Two. There. I still don't like it. We're gonna do 2. No. There. We'll go like that, and we'll see how that goes. Clear skies, we'll do... What was it? Scattered at 11,000. broken at 11,000. So broken. Is it this one? Broken at 11,000. Yeah. Broken at 11,000. So there it is. Awesome. Doesn't look very wintry, but I'm tired of not having plowed runways. Okay. And our altimeter will go. We'll do the. Well, actually, hang on. We're going. Shoot. I almost want to start over and start over in the FBO, but okay. No, we're not going to. We're just going to. I kind of do want to. Hang on. Shoot. Oh, but I already. Okay. No. We'll just go like this. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, boop, boop. I was definitely supposed to lean the mixture out first, but you know. Flaps go up. Okay. All good? All right. Don't have to do the altimeter yet. So we're going to pretend. I'm going to go in and restart. Yes. Because I want to do this right. I am going to take this off quick. Well. Okay. Winter set. Perfect. And we're going to start in parking, which I'm going to assume is right there. Perfect. Departure. And let's try this again. What up, what up? Yeah. We're doing mock Checkride stuff, but it's taken a little bit to actually get into. So how's it going? We're going to have some gusts. We're going to have some weather potentially. So we're going to see how that goes. And, what is this? You know what? I don't want that. It can go away. We're not using live weather because I don't like the snow on the runway. Grabbing some soda. Nice. Sounds good. We'll be around in a bit. All right. Sounds good. I will get this all taken care of. Snow depth. We did 2. Perfect. Clear skies broken was at 11,000. Whoa. Okay. 11,000. I don't need that. So we're good there. Boop. Snow depth. No, not 21 inches. 20. 2's good. Okay. Excellent. I think we're good. I guess pressure is just sea levels, so we'll just be fine with that. Wind. You know what we're gonna do? Okay, what's the runway? The runway is 1432. Excellent. 1432. I think that was the same as the last one, so we're gonna do 050. And we're gonna do 7 knots because I had my first aborted takeoff by myself on Saturday. And it was kind of frightening, but it was okay. Took care of it. It was all good. But I do need to work on soft field takeoffs with crosswind correction and or ask my CFI about it. So there. Think that's what we're going to do. That sounds good. Sounds perfect. We'll do our altimeter later. All right, so we just got finished within the FBO. I took my oral test and I passed with flying colors. I'm going to use that until Checkride because it's funny. So now we come out to the plane. Hop inside, put all my stuff together. First thing I do, Control lock out, master lock, master switch on. Put the nav, don't have a strobe, put the beacon on. Taxi is taxi lights. Flaps down. Perfect. Fuel gauges are true. And again, I would have been filled up prior to this. So, and then we go outside. We go outside and we check the light, and light. And those are all excellent. And we go back inside, shut everything, off, and off. All right, then we go back outside. We get our little cup, our little tube. We drain some fuel from here, check it, make sure it's good. Drain some fuel from over there, check it, make sure it's good. Check the static port, check the pitot tube and drain hole, the fuel vent, the baggage door, make sure that's good. Check the wheels, the tires. Check the flaps, make sure they're connected. The ailerons, they're all bolted on. Check the elevator, all the antennas. The rudder, make sure that's connected. Other side of the elevator in the trim tab. All the antennas, other flap, other aileron. All good, excellent. We go in this little port. We open the oil, make sure that's at about 6. Drain a little bit of fuel from that. Check the belt, check the prop edges, the exhaust, the air intake, make sure that's clear and that there's good clearance on the nose wheel. And then we bop up here and visually check the fuel. I think that's good, but we'll check our checklist. There are birds that should not be tweeting at this time of year. Okay. Fuel quantity. So did that. And so I did test the pitot heat thing. I asked my CFI about it and he told me what to do and I did it. And I mean, it's simple, but it was cool because you just turn it on and you just wait for a while and you go and you just grab it and it's nice and warm and then you're like, all right, good. I don't know. It was fun. All the new things are fun all the time. I get way too excited. All right, that's all good. Fuel quantity, quality, caps, drains, vents. And I always forget to check the stall horn area. I do need to ask him how to test it if I'm supposed to. All right, services and controls. Pitot static, gear, tires, brakes, antennas. And then probably at that point, I would take out the chocks and pop them in the back. Baggage door, final walk around. Excellent. All right, back inside. Back inside. And so we got all our stuff together. Got my He's looking super creepy. He's got some exorcist stuff going on. That is some serious exorcism. Oh no. Pea soup. All right. Yes. Sentry's good. Headphones are good. Electronic flight bag is good. Checklist. Backup phone. Cool. All my cheat sheets where I need them to be. Awesome. All right. So I would have already taken a picture of the Hobbs time. That's good. That's excellent. Checking that the fuel's on both. Check the circuit breakers. Alternate static. Don't need to do. Brakes pedal test. Make sure those are good. Boop, boop. Passenger brief. No talking during takeoff and landing. Exits out the doors to the left and right. For now, for now. Make sure they're nice and locked so that he doesn't pull anything on me. Seatbelts on at all times. Already said that. If we lose power on rollout, we're going to stop right on the runway. If it's after takeoff and it's below 1,000 feet, I guess I'll take my feet off the pedals. And if it's below 1,000 feet, we're going to land straight ahead. If it's above 1,000 feet, we're going to come back around, land on the runway. All right, here we go. And we check our seat track. Da-da-da. Good. Chicken is good too. Avionics are off. Autopilot is irrelevant. Carb heat is off. Can you not track IR? Okay. Oh, God dang it. Carb heat is off. Beacon is on. Okay, beacon's on. Prime it. Badoom. 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 And we're going to be doing 4 because it's cold. All right. Mixture. We go full rich. Throttle is slight. Put our brakes on. Open up that window and clear prop. Master on. Boop, boop. Boop, boop, boop. Oops, oops, oops. Oh, look, it worked. Brakes are on. Clear prop, master on, mag start. Check the oil pressure. Oil pressure is good there. Excellent. Flaps go up and the avionics go on. Nav lights we put on. So I used to leave all the lights on that I needed after pre-flight and like before I turned it on. My instructor said, no, don't do that. So I was like, okay. And then my first solo, I forgot the nav lights for the first half of it. So I didn't get the full track on the ADS-B. And it was a good one too. But I got the last half, so it was okay, I guess. So now I'll always remember it though, kind of, hopefully. So oil pressure, flaps up, avionics on, nav lights as required. I'm putting the landing light on because that is also our taxi light. Get our frequencies, which are, where is it? Winter set. Is 122.7, I believe, for CTAF. Yes. And this one does not have an AWA, so I guess we will just use Des Moines. And we'll... and yeah, that's at sea level, so we'll just do it as that. So 1100. Awesome. ATIS, AOS, altimeter. Excellent. Seatbelts, heat vent, transponder, don't touch it. Taxi lights on, radio brakes, attitude indicator, turn coordinator. I think I'm going to leave that for... And again, I need to find out where I'm actually supposed to do my run-up, if I can just do it here. We're just going to do it here for now. Brakes are set. Fuel is both. Trimmed for takeoff. Flight controls. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, excellent. And in the back there. Perfect. Instruments. Good, 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 good. And we would set the heading indicator to the compass. Mixture is best in power. I could put it out a little bit, but it's cold, so eh. Primer is in and locked, so we just wiggle that, make sure it's good. 1700 RPM. All right. Boop. Wait for that drop. And forward. And back. Wait for that drop. And forward. Carb heat out. Wait for that drop. And forward. Check the vacuum and the amps. The vacuum, which is between 4 and 6, and the amps and volts, which is positive. Oil pressure and temperature is good. Excellent. Idle check closed. Perfect. All right. And so our wind, we are saying is, oh, we have a crosswind. So it doesn't matter where we take off. So we're going to take off from wherever we're closest to, I guess. So let's see the boopity boop boop. Here it is. I don't know if you can see it. Is it seeable? Kind of. Oop, not that one. Can I boop over a little bit? Yeah, there we go. So we are here. So we're gonna take off from 1-4. Perfect. So, Winterset traffic, Cessna Hotel Tree 1, Delta 1, departing 1-4 to the south. Winterset. All right, cool. Oh, and I need to do my thing. Oh, I was going to do a whole thing, but no, never mind. We're not going to do that. We're just going to work on the maneuvers that I need to work on. That's what I needed to do. All right. We're about to get this puppy off the ground. If this thing will come up. Oh, there it is. I love how this connects to ForeFlight. It's so much fun. Devices. Perfect. I guess I need to get in the air. So. All right. So we're going to. Did I miss anything? We're good. So we're going to try a soft field takeoff. So again, on Thursday, I did my soft field takeoff. I did do a soft field takeoff. I did two. On Thursday and then on Friday. Both times it was good. It was fine. Then on Saturday, it was a little bit of a wind. And I got a little bit uncoordinated. And it was kind of terrifying, but I figured it out. And I dropped that throttle and I landed back on the runway and I booped right back around. And I just did crosswind. Can you stop looking at me creepy like that? Like, honestly, man. Anyway. But yeah, so then I did. I just focused on the crosswind correction, did a normal takeoff, and it was fine. And then I went over to a different airport, worked on short field landings, tried a soft field takeoff, and I got kind of nervous about it, so it didn't work out. No, that was hang on. The next day, on Sunday, then I tried the soft field takeoffs again, and I don't know. I think I got nervous again, and I have parking. My plane doesn't, or the plane I fly in doesn't have parking brake, so I don't have to worry about that. So yeah, so now I'm a little bit nervous about. I was doing fine with soft field takeoffs, and then that kind of freaked me out a little bit. So now, yeah, I gotta get back into it. All right, so yes, thank you, ForeFlight. 2,800 feet. It's not too bad. So yes, so we're gonna try. And it's 1-4, so we're taking off 1-4, so 0-5. So wind is that way. So we're gonna see how this goes. It isn't. It's probably not gonna. Oh, come on! I accidentally pressed a button and now my track IR didn't work. Boom. Okay. Oh no, now I've messed everything up. Okay. So yeah, it's not gonna go too well here, but we're gonna at least try. We're gonna have those proper inputs at least. So it's soft field takeoff, so you just don't come to a stop. Try to use the brakes as little as possible. All right, and you keep that back and crosswind correction, throttle up, mixture full rich. Okay, it doesn't feel like I am pulling back. There it is. And oops. In ground effect. In ground effect with crosswind control. All right, we're at 60. So pull it up. Ay, ay, ay. It's not pretty in the sim. At least for me. Okay. So we're climbing at 60 and we have reached our... gone over our obstacle, so we're going to pitch for 70. Not that much. And we're departing to the south, so we need to go this way. And it was 1100, so once we get up to 1,000, we will do cruise climb. Do a nice gentle turn. Get us going to the south. I feel like I should be climbing a lot faster, so I'm trying to figure out why. Oh. That's why. Not gonna, nope. Not gonna say it. Not gonna say it. I actually do remember my flaps when I'm not, flipping all over the place. Alright, and cruise climb in the plane that I fly is 90, or is 100, so we'll aim for like 90. And we'll get up to, it was 1100, we're gonna work on some steep turns, slow flight, and we're not gonna focus too much on stuff. We're just gonna kind of do it, bang it out, get it done. Just like how the Checkride's gonna go. All right, honestly, come here. Noom. The blinding light. All right. So, anyway, 1100 plus 15 is 26, and I like to have a nice buffer, so we'll probably go up to like 3,500. If so, 1100. Hang on. We can't have too much buffer because then we're in the above 3,000 AGL thing, and I don't want to have to deal with that. What is the deal? So we'll go 2,600, 35. We could do 3,500. That should be okay. We will. We'll go 3,500. Oh, and we shall, while we are climbing nice and gentle-like and trimmed, our airman certification standards. All right. So, takeoffs, landings, normal. Where is steep turns and so slow flight? Uh-huh. 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 Check that heading. We got 500 more feet to go. Mm-hmm. Steep turns. All right. So, again, so it's 360 degrees. I'm not looking at it. I'm going to try and remember it by memory. I'm going to try and remember it by memory. Plus or minus 100 feet. Plus or minus 5 degrees of bank. Plus or minus 10 knots of airspeed. And rolling out on the heading plus or minus 10 degrees. Da-dun. Plus minus 100 feet, airspeed plus minus 10 knots, bank plus minus 5 degrees, roll out. Yes! Nailed it. Okay, excellent. And the thing is as long as I'm watching my altitude and my bank, the airspeed should be within that range as well. And then I do need to just make sure about the entry heading. So I worked on steep turns on Saturday. It was that day. Want to call it a name, but that would be unladylike. But it was Thursday was all right. It was nice being able to get out and kind of just wander around and get the feel for that. Instead of just kind of like going, okay, I'm going over here, and then I'm going over here, and then I'm going over here. It was just kind of like wandering around and getting the feel for that and making sure I'm watching for traffic and obstacles at 800 feet above the surface. And so that was okay. And then Friday was great. Ground reference maneuvers went really well, and it was just a really good day for it. And then Saturday, I had my aborted takeoff, and then I worked on my steep turns, and I was supposed to do other stuff, but I just kept working on the steep turns, and I think I burned myself out on them. But I think I know what I did wrong, so we're gonna see if kind of see if I am correct in my own assessment of what the issue was. So we're coming back to 2300 as we're coming up to 3500. Not that far. So 22, 23 there looks about good. And we need to climb again. So we'll get back up to that 3500. Little bit more. Come on. Come on. All right, now level out. And I am not doing steep turns to the south because that is just not going to work. Okay, so we're going to bring it around to the east. We'll probably get on that road. Throttle's creeping down on me. Alright. There we go. Perfect. And we are going to do clearing turns. I'm going to bring that throttle up a little bit more. Alright, so we're about at 3,500. And so we're on a heading of east, so we'll do our clearing turns quick. So we go like so. Ground speed's 73 knots, which seems like it might be a headwind then. Gentle, nice gentle clearing turn all the way to north, and then back all the way to south. Okay, so we're gonna roll out on north. Check around, check around. Why does it look like I still have flaps in? I put those up. I'm okay. We're good. We're all right. That's why it was taking so flippin' long. Mm. Okay, we're good. We're good. We're normal. All right. And we're going back around to south. So nice and gentle. We're going to rise just a little bit. Probably bank a little bit more. Nice gentle clearing turn. Not descending. 81 knots. 82 knots. Make sure I'm not descending. So we're coming around. It should not take this long. Not descending, not climbing. Checking it out. 81 knots. Coming around all the way to... We must be coming into a headwind. Kind of, maybe. No, apparently not. Well, I guess I can't really tell because I was kind of dipping a little bit. Or maybe I should use south as my heading to roll out on, because as soon as it gets blinding, I gotta roll out. Okay, so so south must be my downwind. So we'll remember that for ground reference maneuvers, depending on how long it takes to... You know what, we will. We'll just... It doesn't make sense, but that's okay, whatever. So we're gonna get on south. It's blinding, so 3,500. So we're gonna go... Oh, don't pull back too quickly. So once we get there, we go like so. You don't have to use as much rudder as I... Oh, now I gotta start pulling back. Not like that, though. More bank. No. And roll out on south. That was horrendous. We're gonna try it again. But that was, I think, towards the end of my Saturday steep turns, I started relying on rudder too much. And I started getting buffeting and I think skidding out of the steep turns, which was, again, also like a little bit frightening. But I mean, it was fine. I could handle it, which is nice to know. But I do want to make sure I'm doing it with proper technique. So that's what we're working on-ish. So, well, that was technically our one steep turn for left. I forgot that that's what I was doing. We'll do a right one. And if we want to do another one to the left, we will do another one to the left, just because I forgot. I did forget about that. So we do want a little bit of rudder at first and pull back, bank, and yep, and watch. Oop, not too much. Make sure we're not descending, not too much bank. Hey, 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 I am all the way over here, and you, friend, are not banking the way I'm telling you to. And we... it was a little past our heading, and we did drop more than we should have. But again, I wasn't using rudder, so once I get back into the plane, I do. The turns were absolutely fine. I kept the altitude. I kept the bank. It was just right at the end I started again getting that buffeting and kind of I think skidding out of the heading, off of the heading. So I'll practice that again, and hopefully that'll be what it is. So we're gonna turn toward east. You know what? We're gonna turn towards north, and we're gonna do some slow flight because I think that that's our headwind. And I don't know, maybe we'll try to fly backwards. I did that with my instructor last week, And it was fun. It was like finding the helicopter cheat code in the airplane. So we're turning. We did our clearing turns. We were good with maneuvering speed. 1100, 2600. We're up at 3400, so that should be fine. Rolling out on north. Excellent. So, still 22, 2300, but we are getting into slow flights, so we're going to bring it down to 2000. And we're going to bring carb heat out, and we don't want to descend, so we're going to flap it. And we're in the white arc, so we're going to flap it again. And we're going to flap it again. And we're going to... I don't think I actually need the... Well, I think that's only 3, so... So, pitch for 55 maybe? Or maybe I can get closer in here. So once I get trimmed out... I think I'm going to bop up the speed a little bit because I don't want to be descending. But I need a little bit more. Arrgh. So it's just like coming in on final. Which actually is interesting then, because I always end up coming, I do think it's partly because I go too long on my downwind on here. But carb heat is out, throttle is there. So I'm above flap stall speed, but I'm still descending, so we're gonna power up some more. Unless in here I need to get it right on the stall horn, because this is just ridiculous. Ground speed is 60 knots. Okay, so we're at least not descending anymore. So we're going to try to find where our headwind is. I think it's the other way. And we'll see if we can get it to... And we'll probably climb back up too. In slow flight. 63 knots, 62 knots. I almost want to turn up the wind a little bit. Nah, it's fine. Okay. So, we did a couple turns. We will climb in slow flight, so we're going to just keep on that speed. So we're gonna just gently push the throttle in, and we'll get back up to 3,500. Oh, no, that's fine. I was gonna do a stall, but that's okay. Go like that, and we'll carb heat in to give us a little bit more power. And then we can take some flaps out if we need to while we keep on that speed. And we'll actually even try a climbing turn. Keeping on that speed. So we're on west. Let's get to north. Keeping on that speed as we're climbing. Oh, and we're at north, and we'll go back the other way too, as we might as well continue climbing, because we'll do some stalls. Bring it down a little bit. Bring it up a little bit, because we're not quite in slow flight and don't need to go that much. Oh, and we're back on west. That was quick. All right. Said no one ever about slow flight. All right, we're gonna keep on climbing. And we'll start pulling out our flaps some more. Oops, wrong way. Flap out, flap out. But we also have to make sure we're not getting into our flap speed range. And one more. And we'll come out at 4,000. Whew, okay. 4,000, most excellent. Leveling out. 2,300 and trimming. 144 ounce big gulp later. Nice, nice. Are you going to be wired? All right, we're on west. We'll first do power on stall, and then we shall do a power off stall. So if I can get it trimmed out properly, we'll go ahead and do that. Insomnia's been kicking your butt anyways. No, don't matter. Oh, darn. I wish I could help ya. I could try to sing a lullaby. But nobody wants that. And Chicken would try something, but he's more of a wake you up sort of a creature. Ha 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 ha. Okay, so we're gonna power on stall, and so it's 60 in the plane that I fly? Question mark? I think so, because I figured it was rotation speed, and that's miles per hour, so I think 50 or 55 for this one, so I'll have to power down. See, Charlie wants to do impossible turns tomorrow. Yes! Yes! Well, is that that's the 180 degree, right? Like, where it's the power off, and then you zoop it, right? Because that's basically the, you lose power. If you take off and you lose power above 1,000 feet, you turn around and land back on the runway. And that's been the two emergency landings that I've actually had to go through with, where you get up into the pattern and it's, oh yeah, we're going to do a normal landing, and you get up into the pattern, and right when you enter downwind, your engine died. 180 degree after power off, back to the right. Yeah, yep, yeah. I did my my first one by myself. I got it all the way down to the runway. He did have to help me, like, kind of stop it a little bit, but I did. I actually made it back down to the runway from that downwind. So, maneuver that even makes you nervous, and almost all I do is acrobatic simming. If you know how to handle your aircraft, it's not as bad as you'd think, as long as you keep the angle of attack where it's supposed to be. I think. I don't know. I could be wrong, and maybe I'm thinking about it differently too. So, hang on, because it's if you get into the downwind and then you go, Yeah, you just gotta yeah. The big thing is you really need to know your aircraft. Right. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Okay. I guess I do. I'm taking a lot of things for granted now since I've been like working with the same aircraft over and over and over for a while now. So I do, there is stuff that I do take for granted about like knowing those sorts of things. So, okay, it does make sense. But it is something you practice. So, yeah, I don't know. It's okay. I'd say it's not as bad as you think. Cuz cuz you're just doing a regular pattern. It's just shunted. Taking your extras always, but still you got to be really intimate with the plane. Right. Right. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be fun. Um but yeah, I did. My first one that we did, this was a while ago. It didn't go very well. I was nervous about it and everything, but this last one, it was super, super windy. So I did have to correct for that wind. I could have let myself get blown out a little bit more because I did end up kind of coming in a little bit short on the runway, but I felt like I actually kind of understood it a lot better. So that was nice. Major factor is going to be when the engine stalls for this simulation. Do you mean because of just how it how the sim does it or what? Cuz yeah. I'm all about like the controls bother me a lot, but it's probably just how mine are calibrated. But yeah. I don't know. I'm going to do a quick, if you don't have enough altitude to make that turn, then you're in for a bad time. Well, yeah, so that's why like right in the your beginning kind of self briefing, but also passenger briefing. It's if you lose power after takeoff and it's below 1,000 feet, you're just gonna land straight ahead. If it's above 1,000 feet, that's when you work on getting back to the runway because that's already pattern altitude. So, and if you have that proper glide path, you're if you keep that proper glide path, you should have the time. And I guess that's it would be interesting because thinking about it now, if you lose power directly after takeoff above 1,000 feet, you're not necessarily back over here on the downwind. So there is that situation. Hang on. So hang on. Altitude to make the turn. Okay, yeah, yes, but that's with a high camber wing. Oh, this thing glides like a brick. Oh no. Well, and so that's I guess that would be kind of my question. I am losing altitude, but like why? So now that I'm thinking about it, any of the turn back to the runways that I've done, it's been over here. Oops. So like, okay, so I do. I think that's probably what it's going to be. But that's what I'm saying is if it's what I'm thinking it is, where the engine cuts out right on the beginning of downwind, you're at your proper pattern altitude already. So you just kind of cut your pattern a little bit short, if that makes sense. That I don't know about though. Like if again, that's another thing where you got to know your airplane. So like just depending on how you land, like the steps you have to take in order to land, just kind of cut that in half. Roughly, absolutely roughly. Impossible turn is when the engine cuts out right on takeoff. Okay, but then that's technically like okay. So you take off and you turn back around and land downwind? Is that what that is? Well, so okay, so is that's what I'm saying is so for him cuz he said the 180-degree turns. So I would think that that's if you're on downwind, engine cuts, get down to the runway. The impossible turn would be a 360-degree turn. Right? I guess that's how I'd think about it. So I guess I'm not sure he would be doing impossible turns unless he actually did say that specifically and I missed it. And that's something I'm gonna have to ask my CFI too to make sure that I'm aware of what I'm actually saying immediately. So okay, but so that's what I'm saying is so you're turning back around, landing on the runway downwind, so you have a tailwind, right? And now I'm climbing. Starting to think we're describing the same thing. No, not quite, not quite. So, all right, so yeah, yes and no. So you take off, right? And you lose power, but you're at 1,000 feet. So you turn back around and you land back on the runway, but opposite the way that you took off on. So you're landing downwind with a tailwind, right? Yes. Okay. But I'm that's why I'm saying that's the impossible turn, but the 180-degree turn that Charlie is probably talking about might be the downwind one where you cut the engine on downwind and you just cut your cuz I don't know I don't know. I guess we'll see. I just feel like if he's going kind of at like the student pace ish, we probably wouldn't be doing those quite yet. But maybe he will. I don't know. I haven't had to try to do one of those yet. So, and I don't know if that would be something that you're supposed to actually practice during student piloting. So I don't know. So we'll see, I guess. So it's either one or the other. Both are 180-degree turns. It just says power off 180-degree landings, which if it's going from like an educational student sort of standpoint, I would assume it's like you're going around the pattern, and then on one of your patterns, your instructor goes, "All right, your engine got cut." Right at the I asked if he meant impossible turn, but he hasn't gotten back to me. And you know what? Since you asked, even if he wasn't planning on doing it, he probably will anyway, which would be fun to see and try and stuff too, because I hadn't actually thought about that when I do my passenger briefing that it's actually just turning around and landing downwind with a tailwind, which is kind of frightening because yeah. Yeah, impossible turn. There you go. There it is. Cuz yeah, that does. That just shoves you right back. Remember him being really interested by it during the mountain trip, so I kind of assumed, which is I probably shouldn't have. I mean, well, I don't know. I don't know, and I could be just since that's what my experience has been, and that's what it kind of seemed like he was trying to do is just kind of from a general student standpoint. Like you'd probably want to start with those first, and then of course he'll probably throw those in there too, the impossible turns too, which I would like. Now I really want to actually get into that sort of stuff because I've been saying that in my passenger brief, but I haven't actually thought about it in that respect. So I do need to know those things. So yeah, I guess we'll find out. Either he'll say or we'll find out tomorrow. I have not been doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Oh no, hang on. Let me do a quick power on stall. So we're gonna just cut power. Do I have my carb heat all the way in? Perfect. So we're gonna drop power. So we're gonna bring it up a little bit. It's good to practice when the motor works, not so much when it don't. Exactly. But it's also kind of fun. it's kind of exhilarating actually. All right, so we're gonna bring it to 60 because I think 55 actually. So we're gonna bring it down a little bit more, bring it down to 55. That's good. Okay, so we're gonna power on. Use that right rudder. Oh gosh, that was a little bit much. Don't have to go that far. Kinda don't have to go that far. Wait for it to break. Keep the wings level. Oh, I don't know if I actually let it go. Hang on. Oh, that was a... Well, well, you know what? We're going to say that was my power on stall. It's kind of anticlimactic. I'm not sure I really let it break, but... Don't know, maybe it's your landing style usually come in a tad low to intercept the glide slope and then give some power towards the end. I know on soft field landings that's like actually part of the technique. But yeah, I think that's one of the things where they actually encourage you to practice your landings as much as possible, power off, because of those instances where if you lose your engine, you'll be able to have that feeling already. But I don't think I've been doing that. I always have a little bit of power in on final and then I bring it out. So for stalled engine, that's some yikes tactics. Right. Just it's a little bit. But the other thing is too though, well, let me think. Cuz like with my 180 degree, I was like way too I was like halfway down the runway. So like with how you do it, carb heat out, like that might actually work because you'd be expecting or anticipating being able to power in a little bit. So then, oh shoot, hang on. Yeah, no, that's okay. I don't know. It seemed like I was going somewhere with that, but yeah, I don't know. Oh shoot, airman certification standards for stalls. I think it's. I don't think that there's an altitude thing. Ground reference maneuvers will come back to piloted diversion loss procedures during slow flight. We already did that. Yeah. Power off stalls. Okay. Return to the altitude heading and airspeed. Maintain a specified heading in straight flight. Angle of bank not to exceed blah. Plus 10. Oh, okay. That should be fine. But you've been distracting the bejesus out of me. But I'm going to be practicing this stuff actually in the plane, which is a lot better. Hang on, I think I need to. Ooh, this is not gonna be good. I'm very close to the surface. Not really. I'm technically. We're gonna climb a little bit. We're gonna climb in slow flight, but I don't know. What I get the most out of in here is again the concepts of things and the ideas and some of the flow. So being able to talk over that stuff, like again, I had not actually thought about the if we lose power on takeoff, we're gonna and it's above 1,000 feet. Can you please climb? I don't want to undo all of my stuff again. Fine, carb heat is in, and we're going in, and we're gonna get up so that we're not frightening people. Yeah, but no, that's a little tidbit that I need to know and that I need to actually think about is what am I actually doing when I say that? Because I kind of just always assumed that it would kind of pattern, but it's probably not. Depending on how far past 1,000, I guess. So like if we're going on takeoff and we get above 1,000 feet, like say 1,500, say 2,000, and we're still not yet at um, our cruise altitude, we could still kind of come back around and go like that. But say it's like just at 1,000 and we're going just departing direct, is that what it means? Is I have to turn right back around and land on the runway? So I have to ask. I have to know these things. So yeah, so that's honestly I'm what I'm doing here is I'm just kind of trying to get a general rough flow of how things are going to go and get myself into a you get one shot at this sort of thing mindset. Um and just the general like technique and ideas and stuff of it. So no, I appreciate the thought nuggets. So, but I'll also try to be somewhat entertaining with my fly. And I do actually have to get used to him potentially trying to distract me, my DPE, and make sure that I'm able to take control as pilot in command and say, shh, I'm doing things, and not feel weird and bad about it. Okay, so we're in slow flight. Excellent. So we pitch for, so we're going to pitch and trim for 60. And then we pull it up and we act just like we're coming in for a landing. So we just let it sit right there, power out. And then we go like that and we zoop doop doop da doop doop da doop doop. Keep the wings level. Oh, and that's okay. We push in, we throttle up, and we pull it out. We clean up that airplane. Excellent. Yes. Flaps come out. And we get back on our heading. Yay. That was not horrendous, and that was kind of chill. I did kind of forget to pull the throttle out, but that's okay. Well, if I want thought nuggets, you flying at max AOA like this is a maneuver you do for your DCS air demo. Oh, very nice. So yeah, so stall, and you just kind of sit there and you just kind of. It's a technical term. All right, so we did steep turns, we did slow flight, we did both stalls, ground reference maneuvers. It is. So it was 1,100. Where are we now? Hang on. Oh gosh, where's my plane? Where on earth are we? We're very far away. We're gonna turn back to the north and east. And on our way back, we're just gonna go away. I'm gonna, oopsie daisy. Oh shoot, that's what I was also gonna do. Okay, no stall. You're 500 feet off the asphalt, so stall would be bad. Okay, so basically slow flight. Flying the jet slower, that yes, then your landing speed at 140 knots with 20 degrees AOA. Nice. Oh, that's so cool. Oh, that's fun. But yeah, that's something that because isn't that what we're doing tomorrow too? We're also doing slow flight. So you're gonna be bomb at that. Perfect. Which one is the extra again? Is it? I'm still learning my planes. I know. I'm this far in and I don't know my planes properly, but I'm working on it. So we're gonna pretend. Oh my gosh, there's an engine fire. Okay, so what are we gonna do? There's an engine fire. We're gonna immediately throttle out, pull that mixture. I'm not gonna do that in the plane, and we're gonna circle down, and we're gonna look for a landing spot. I want to say like almost steep turn that thing, and we're just gonna. We got. Yes, I know for flight, and we're gonna say, Yep, thanks. We're gonna. Yep, and we are gonna say we. would have landed. So we're gonna climb. There. So the engine fire went out. Awesome. Excellent. And we would have pulled our, yeah, if we could have, we would have turned off our fuel. Mixer would have gone out. All this other stuff. And then, oh no, engine cut now. Oh gosh, what are we going to do? We're going to pitch for best glide, which on this one is, I think, 70. That's a lot of trees. We're going to land straight ahead. So we're going to put our flaps in. And we're going to... we're going to slip it. We're going to slip it. And we would turn stuff off if we could. Oh, God. We're okay. We're not okay. Technically... I think I was a little too close to the ground for what he would actually ask me to do. But I don't know. Jet absolutely hates it. The buffeting is insane. What? Bitching Betty is... Oh, okay. Bitching Betty is bitching, and the stall horn is going crazy. Okay, sounds... Okay. Got it. Yeah, ripping pepperonis. Oh, and I gotta do all this stuff? Shoot. Flipping hail. Again, every time he's had me do emergency stuff, he's like, "Yeah, we would have made it." So, I say it all the time, but I promise I actually am better in the plane. 050. Speed, we did 7 knots. We don't want any gusts. Why would we have gusts when it's 7 degrees? Okay. All right. Boom. Boom. Nav. Beacon. Landing light. Parking brake. Boom. Throttle slight. Clear prop. Oop. Bop bop. Control E. Excellent. Okay. All right. Let's do this thing. Winterset traffic. Cessna Hotel Tree 1 Delta 1. Departing 1-4 to the south. Winterset. It's so irritating. And that's the thing too. Thank you, ForeFlight. Hitting bushes and trees. Thank you, ForeFlight. Does not necessarily mean, we're gonna try short field takeoff with crosswind. Again, hitting bushes and trees does not necessarily mean death. Sometimes it's a good form of, it's not great on the center line. Sometimes it's a form of stoppage. I did have a little bit too much speed, so I probably could have glided some more. I could have glided some more and been more assured of a flatter spot and more room. So that is what we learned from that disaster. It was a pretty sturdy tree, though. That was a bush. At least the one that I looked at. Maybe I wasn't looking at the proper one. Oh gosh. Yeah, it was a sturdy tree. Yeah. Ah. All right. So, Short field takeoff is a normal takeoff, except you hold the brakes until revving. I hope everything is correct. Put that heading indicator. Excellent. Release those brakes and let it go, go, gadget. Don't have my flaps on for once. Keep the line about where my right leg is and rotate. Rotate, 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 rotate. And I forgot crosswind correction. Silly, 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 silly. Pitch for technically 60 actually for this plane. Because it's in knots and not miles per hour. Pitch for 60. Okay, we have cleared our obstacle. Pitch for 70. All right. So we're going to say that was my one chance on my engine landing, and I'm going to have to come back and do that one again. Shit. Ah, well. Maybe at the end, the things that I super failed on, like that one specifically, we will try again. We'll see. But for now, ground reference maneuvers. We'll see how well that goes. So we need 800 feet. You know, I've been liking 900 feet, so I might go 900 feet. So 1,100, so we'll just bop up to 2,000. By the way, still thinking about making a GA movie. Excellent, excellent. Do I get to know the ideas, or should I wait to be surprised? Idea's been burning a hole in your brain. Do it. Do it. It's like, what's the core? We're gonna 2,300. Mostly thinking about how to make the thing. Okay. Okay. See, for me, it's funny. In certain ways, I'm like the more creative type where I don't care about, but the first thing I think about is like, what's the story? Because if you don't have a story, then why waste the time trying to figure out how to make it? But technically, it probably is prudent to figure out how you're actually going to make it before wasting the time on the story. So it depends on what your end goal sort of is. Like, and sorry, I was thinking of things. Story's fairly simple, honestly. Most setups don't need to be complex, just the results. Right. Like you have those joke things where it's like, say this movie or describe this movie in a sentence, and like Lord of the Rings it's a group of friends go on a quest to return some jewelry, and it's like, well, I mean, you're not wrong, but it's like you have a cupcake, right? Your cupcake is simple on itself, but you do gotta frost and sprinkle it, and potentially add some filling to it and a nice wrapper. So yeah, I understand that. I get that. But it depends on how you because how you plan on making it could also determine where you go with the story as well. Like, I don't know if you wanted to do something, this is kind of off whatever, but like Blair Witch Project sort of thing where you do like a found footage sort of thing. Not necessarily a found footage thing, because that kind of implies that bad things happened, I guess. But I don't know, like that could, how you're planning on filming it could also dictate how that story goes as well, if that makes sense. Basically, new school pilot and old school pilot ferry a Cessna for a touring company over Lake Huron from Michigan to Wisconsin. Nice. Then bad things happen, like power delivery to avionics. Nice. Excellent. Ah, very fun. I like that. Oh. And so is it going to be comedic, dramatic, a dramedy? Like, what's that tone that you're kind of going for? These are the things that I like think about, because yeah. Ground reference maneuvers. Okay, we're gonna find some while you're typing your stuff. Basically Apollo 13, but in a Cessna or something similar. sounds so horrible. Um, the Apollo 13 movie, right? It does. It sounds horrible. I'm sorry, but I don't know these things. Shoot, what was I doing? We're gonna turn around this point, I guess. I know, but like, I haven't seen the movie, so I don't know. Cause if I'm just checking to make sure, cause you could. Are you going full? I haven't. I haven't seen the movie, so I don't know how they did that tone. So that doesn't help me. I've seen lots of movies, not that one. Okay, we need to bring it up a little bit. We were at 2000, so we'll bring it up. And I think we're also potentially maybe kind of in a headwind. We're getting pushed that way, so we're going to keep going this way. So yes, at some point I'll watch the movie and then I'll understand what kind of tone and story you're going for. I apologize for my lack of entertainment knowledge in that area. We are descending, and we bring it back up, and we come back around. Excellent. And we're just going to say that's good. We're going to go find one to do to the right. Tone will be rather serious in nature. The setup will be a tad mundane to get the viewer in that mindset, as most flights are mundane, right? Then when stuff goes sideways, then it'll hit harder. Ooh, okay, excellent, excellent. Okay, okay. So a more mature type of movie. Very good. Okay. That's good. I get that now. Okay. I'm trying to think back to all of my and like I guess like you said it's at least I think you said like you're not too far into it yet, right? It's still in the beginning stages. So, yeah, so it's not going to be like a buddy plane movie sort of thing. It's yeah, I do. I like that. It's in the wouldn't that be cool to do one day stage. See, but that okay. Okay. I feel like that's kind of a bit of a broad stage, but okay, okay. I think I get where you're at then. I was supposed to figure it out from the downwind. Well, you know what? My ground speed's pretty okay, so we're gonna say that this is about ish the downwind. So it is. It's in that nugget of an idea where it's not. You don't have the whole fleshing out of it to the point where it's actually you're actually putting in that those sweat and tears yet. It's like the honeymoon stage of creation, which is um somewhat fitting. We're not going there. Never mind. Okay. We're gonna find another point, and we're just gonna go around. We're gonna go to the right this time. Mostly caught up in the production because production sounds like a nightmare. Again, it does depend on how you want to do it, because again, like if you did it from a point point of for example, do you feel comfortable acting in a plane with your DSLR on the dash in front of you? Um, How big is it? Probably not. um but that's why, like, if you do it from, I guess I don't know how well it would work for the seriousness of it. I feel like it could. You could do a sort of, I don't know, if you wanted to do like a technologic, what's the word? A sort of, like you said, like the new student pilot with the old school pilot, and you could have like the new pilot is so excited and has all these cameras set up in it, and the old pilot is like, oh, I don't, that sort of thing. Like you could have that sort of a statement on things, and you can also get footage from it if that makes sense, and then you don't have to worry about those sort of things. Response you expected was hell no. Well, I mean, I'm also focusing on my right hand's ground reference maneuvers, so I can't get as excitable as I usually do. But again, it's that's what I'm saying is, I don't, how big is your DSLR? Because if it's a very large camera, then yeah, hell no. But like I said, if you had that, if you had, again, like Blair Witch Project with the found footage stuff, if you have the new student pilot being all about the like YouTube stuff and tracking their flights and stuff, you could kind of make a statement about, like, and I mean, I don't know if you want to do that at all, but it could have like a little sort of a subtle or not statement about like technological use, where it's not necessarily good, not necessarily bad. Like you can, and you can even have that too, where like the student pilot is all about, say, like the electronic flight bag, and is just using that, and yes, it does work very well and it gets them where they're going and all that, but then say that conks out, and then the old school pilot has to take care of that stuff. So you could have that sort of thing in there. Plan is filming it in 4K 60p. Honestly, that's perfectly fine. Want to stick a knife in Hollywood? That, but but again, there, and I keep going back to this, but again, Blair Witch Project, where it blew up, and it wasn't, at least I don't think I've ever actually seen it, but it was filmed on lesser cameras and stuff, and it still worked as a thing. So I don't. I'd say you don't necessarily have to play by Hollywood's rules in order to stick it to Hollywood. It might even stick farther if you don't, if that makes sense. But I do. I absolutely understand that too. Plan honestly was to park the plane in a hangar and set up a giant green screen for the pilot dialogue shots. As long as it's done well. Because I did. I actually watched a movie recently that it didn't have it done well. It was. It was. If it's done well, it can work. But you'd have to play around with it. Green screen is a bugger to do, right? But aren't aren't there smaller cameras that still allow you to get, I guess maybe not that level. I don't know. I don't know. Best solution would be to film it actually in the air, but that's a safety nightmare. I would say, have you like looked into how other similar things have been done? But I mean, it's not really similar because cameras aside, if you do it in the air, you need two people who can act and fly the plane, which is asking a lot. Right. Okay. Again, how big is the camera? It is it like a ginormous? Because see if you can find something that is as compact as you can that still can get the job done that you want. Because if it's not a cinema camera, it's a mirrorless camera hybrid using a micro four thirds sensor because I absolutely know exactly what you're talking about. I'm just talking about size, which is a comment we're gonna leave where it's at. So the camera, because like, because when you do, are you expecting to get both pilots in the shots? Okay, hang on. That's it. That would probably be fine, actually. Cause cause I mean, yeah, this is a GH52. Plan on picking up the successor, which is a GH6. Is it that much bigger? Because again, and maybe you should be asking me, and maybe I'm thinking too far ahead, but basically the same size. I don't, I don't think that would be that bad actually, because, and again, it would depend on the blocking, like where you would actually have to place the camera. Because or if it could be hanging right in the middle of the dash. So again, are you expecting to get both pilots at once? Or because I, I guess if you look at Hollywood stuff, you usually get your one angle of the one person and then the other angle of the other person. So you get the one angle of the person and you do the scene, 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 and then you flip it to the other side and be flip multiple takes with the camera focused on one person. So that's the thing is depending on how you want the angle to actually look, where you actually want the angle to come from. You you could have it like just you could have it on the one side pointing at the other person or on the other side pointing at the other person, or whoever is flying the plane would not have the camera on them, if that makes sense. So say this person was acting, right? So if the camera was like, again, depending on how you want it angled, the camera would be like here or here-ish. Yeah, it would probably be like, it doesn't have to be directly in the center. It could be like here-ish and get it somewhat angled. And then the person over here could be actually flying the plane. right? So then once you come back around and you reset the camera and it's over here, and then this person over here is flying the plane while this person is doing the acting. Ideally, you'd be on the opposite side of the person doing the take. See, and that's what I was thinking too. So like the camera's here, so then it's pointing over here, which again, as long as you're in straight and level flight, it's not an issue. Depending on what you want, what conflicts you want to arise and how those things need to look. You can see a lot more than you'd think. So that I would, and again, I could be absolutely wrong and I could be thinking incorrectly for a student pilot. With that size of camera, and again, and depending on how you have it mounted, like it might even be, it would kind of depend on how you have it mounted. It'd mostly be straight and level, just lots of arguing and using old school pilotage. Right, okay. So yeah, so if it's straight and level, you're honestly fine. You're good. I would think just because as long as you get nice chill day and everything, you should be good. I would think so. I would say don't take me at my word for that though. There's kinks that you gotta iron out, but it might be it might be less of an issue than you might think. Because I would think even if you kind of like suction cup mounted it like there-ish, as long as you can like the pilots can see out like that, that might actually work even better. So yeah, don't know. It seems like a sketchy thing to do. Well, so I'll throw this out there. I have my Sentry that goes over here. I know it's small and everything, but the sucker keeps falling off. And it actually happened during one of my solo things, and it was kind of like, okay, I have to sit and fly the plane as well as fumble around and get that thing. It wasn't bad. It was fine. Figured it out. It was great. So if you're worried about it like falling at all, that should be fine too. But you are you are able to see more than you would think. So have you ever gone to like just a just to like a little airport, like in an echo, not echo airspace, but like an uncontrolled airport, and just like, I don't know, get a discovery flight or something? Worried about it being a distraction because you're up in the air managing the plane and avoiding traffic, but also having to act with the camera partially blocking your view. But again, you're only getting one person. So whoever's doing the acting, they're not flying the plane, right? They can pretend they're flying the plane, but the other person is focused on flying the plane. And all they have to do is deliver their lines, monotone, whatever, which, and like they wouldn't even need to do that necessarily because you're going to chop everything together, right? So as long as one of the pilots is focused on the rest of everything, you should be good. Um and I wonder if you even got like a an IFR. I don't know. I don't know how these things work yet. If you got that so that you were just you're on that route. So you're not necessarily needing to worry about the traffic, if that makes sense, up until that point. Okay. See, and that's why I was just saying, like, if you, yeah, I don't know how that stuff works, but like I'm saying, so say you suction cupped it right. So okay, so as I was gonna say, you should go to like uh just a small airport around, if they have like a trainer plane, or if you can find like somebody to just take you up for like a discovery flight or something, or just kind of like, people are super super nice. Oh, okay, hang on. Worried about it being a distraction. Already that. Okay. Both people would likely have to read back the script just so the other person can get into a flow state. See, acting isn't always like that, though, is the thing. So there's a lot of times where it's just like, okay, so we need to get this line in a certain way. So if you have, that's what acting is it, it helps to get into like a flow state, but a lot of times it's just the camera's on you, they read you the line, and then so you could even have somebody in that person's ear reading them the lines while the other person is just flying, if that makes sense. Because yeah, you don't always like scene, like do the scene back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Sometimes it's just like, okay, we need to do this line again, read it like this instead, then you read it like that, and then you try it a different way, and then you try it a different way. So like that's probably a little bit more ideal, that flow, but okay. Okay, let me put it this way. Whiskey Compass is already a pain in the butt for you visually. Whiskey Compass. And don't even get me started with the pylons. I'd already gotten in trouble with those pylons, and I've flown with others a whole whopping once in that plane. Wait, what? What are you talking to me about? It's already a pain in the butt. Those pylons. I feel like you're talking to somebody other than me. Talking about visual obstructions. Okay. Wait, are you talking about just like this and like that and like that? Whiskey Compass is already painted, but okay, okay. No, you're fine. Those are fine. Like he, it's less trouble than you'd think. I would say. Oh gosh, hang on. Where the heck am I? My plane has turned itself all the way back around. But again, it's you could even compare it to flying in IMC conditions for a VFR pilot, but you still have those visual conditions, if that makes sense. Visibility is already really bad in this plane. Don't like the idea of making it worse. Okay, so which plane are you planning to do? You said Cessna, didn't you? So that's why I'm thinking that I'm thinking you're thinking that it's going to be worse than it might actually be. I could be wrong, and maybe I'm a student pilot who's would be making bad choices in that respect. But like I said, if you could, I would even just, even if you don't want to do like a full flight, you could just ask, and they'd be like, and just be like, hey, I'm wondering if I'd be able to put a camera in a plane safely. Can I look at, like, if they have like a trainer plane or a rental plane, and they just be like, "Oh yeah, go ahead." I don't know. That's like how my airport is. But I'm sure if you went and talked to somebody, you could go in and actually see, and you could even ask like, "Okay, is anybody a pilot? If I did this, would that work for you?" Visibility is already really okay. Yeah. So visual exercise, real quick. Okay. All right, I'm ready. Oh, I'm in a headwind. Well, and this is the thing too, where you would even you would only actually need one person who knows how to fly the plane and just stick them in the seat that has the camera or that has the camera um and or you could even have just like two actors who at least know what they're kind of doing, um and then just have another person who's like super good pilot who's just never in the shot, if that makes sense. Imagine that mounted right about where it says Cessna. Sure. Above, right? Like above where it says Cessna? Right above. Okay, right above where it says Cessna. Okay. Honestly, I feel again in straight and level flight, I don't I'm not sure it would actually be that big of an issue, but I would have to kind of visualize it in an actual plane. Because again, if it's there, most of when you're flying is you're looking out there. I mean, it's nice to have that spot there and have that full visual and everything. But I don't know. Again, I would almost go and ask somebody at an FBO, just be like, "Hey, so as somebody who knows plane things, would you fly with this thing in your face?" But like not even in your face. I I need to bank more. I do think it is something good to be aware of, but I I tentatively think that it wouldn't be as big of a problem as you think it might be. But again, I'm a student, I am new, so I could be giving you bad advice. Is that a runway? Oops. Looks like a really nice runway. Where even am I? Okay. I was doing my S turns, and we're on the upwind side, so it's a nice shallow bank. And we're not, what's the word? Ascending. Nice shallow, nice shallow, but still turning, and not descending. And once we get about crosswind, we steepen that turn up. Stand by. Okay, sounds good. Okay, all right. Let me get out of my S turn quick. All right, this is about your flight picture. All right. Honestly, it's not bad. Oh my gosh, it's me. Ugh, gross. Um, I I want to tentatively say that it's not that bad. Because the thing is when you're doing takeoff landing, again, you're flying from either seat, right? So your sight is mostly out the one way. And on your takeoff, you roll and you don't really use that much anyway. You're using your Lindbergh references and out your windows. And then on landing, same thing. You come in. We're going to head back to Winterset, and I will attempt to. Well, and again, my landings are going to be shite anyway, just because I just cannot land in this sim. And I'll see where, because your center line ends up, even if you're you're middle for, yeah, but traffic avoidance. So I mean, you do your clearing turns if, and you do have two people. the so you're actually more like this, to be honest. So like here. So then your camera would be here, so you can see like that. You know what I mean? So if you stuck, again, like I got my sentry over there. I know that's off to the side or whatever. But you got this thing in there too. So any okay, so again, so I'll throw this sorry, this is where I was going. So what you're supposed to do is you stick whatever's out in front of you, right? Have it coming through your right leg, and that's your center. Yep, two people busy acting. But not though. That's what I'm saying, is you don't have to have both of them doing the acting. Like you don't even have to have both of them reading the lines. You could have some, like, whoever, like director whatever, in the ear of the one that's acting reading the lines, and they have to be acting, right? And again, as actors, that's what you're supposed to do. You're making stuff up. You're playing pretend for a living. That's you just it's just what it's part of the job. And plus, so yeah, so I guess that would only be an issue if, hang on. Ah, shoot. Hang on. More direct to. Pattern altitude is, hang on. 1100 plus 1,000 is 2,100 is 2,600. So we need to climb. One person acting and one person doing a script read would yield the best results, but even then you got two people interacting with each other for a long period of time, so there are times where two people would have to be in the shot. And that's the thing too, where so again, I do want to quick make this point. So when it comes to traffic avoidance, when you're looking at something that's coming directly at the middle of the airplane, it's coming kind of through your like right leg. So hang on, let me see if I can get over to it. So if I'm coming up on this road, well, if it'll let me, and I want to land, where do I want to land? I'm going to cross over the pattern. So I'm going to go this way, actually. So we'll get on this road. So, like, the center of view, I don't want to say it doesn't matter, but here, let me get on here quick. Bring that down a little bit. Okay, so going here. So yeah, so like here, kind of, and I won't be able to do that proper of a one, but so that road in front of me, that is my direct center. So if anything's coming directly at me, I'm gonna be able to see it, if that makes sense. And like I said, you're actually more like you're closer to this than way back there. So you can see around. And again, if going back to that, if you did want if you wanted both people in the shots, like at that point, you could potentially try green screen for just those, and that way it would take the burden off of the entire thing. But if you're keeping the camera in one spot and just kind of turning it one way or the other, and then also having both people in the shot, it's going to be there anyway. Plus, you just find a place where there's not a lot of traffic. And it also depends on like how high you are too, and how high you want to be, I guess, depending on what gets into the shot. I almost want to say that I feel like you're giving actors more credit than they deserve. But I mean that's why you rehearse beforehand. For the sake of argument, say the degraded visual picture is perfectly acceptable. You still have 3 people in a plane doing activities on top of managing a plane. Even if one person fully dedicates to flying a plane, person acting is still a distraction. There's just no way around it. And on top of that, I don't own a studio that turns in a profit, so it's all handshake production anyways. Lack of insurance for any shoot makes me even less likely to want to take risks. Well, I'd say if you're taking passengers in general, they're a distraction. So I'd say you're giving actors too much credit and pilots not enough credit in that respect. Because that's one of the things is like you do learn to manage those distractions, and like if you learn to manage if something needs attention, you recognize that first and you just hold the shot. But I guess if you're worried about quality, then I think it would potentially be doable, but like for the sake of argument, are you personally willing to put up with that? See, I'm new, so I would hesitate. But again, if it would be something where it would have to be sort of practiced with before you actually put all those other loads and stresses on, if that makes sense. Again, acting doesn't need to take as much thought as you would think. So again, if you get those rehearsals down and whatever, that that stuff just kind of like that comes out in it. And I'm a student though. That's the thing. If I was a really really good pilot, like again, if you I would suggest going to an FBO and seeing, like, finding someone who is a pilot and be like, okay, and who actually knows what they're doing, and be like, would this be an issue for you? I feel like they would say no. I mean, it's probably one of those things where like the cut and dry black and white answer would be no, you wouldn't want to do that, sort of a thing. Or like you shouldn't do that, sort of a thing. I don't know. But that's the thing too. If you're worried about traffic avoidance, a lot of not a lot of times, but like there's times where you look down and you try and get your stuff. Like now I'm passing Winterset. But like you look down and you're looking, you look, you make your whatever, you do your clearing turns and everything. Wonder what the FARs even say, because those dictate how to attach a GoPro even. I don't know. I don't know. That you know what? That is something I will actually look into. I have that. I will look into it and I will get back to you. I could give you an actual probably more legal answer then. Cuz so okay. So and here's the thing. I'll throw Checkride stuff in there. If my DPE asked me, if your friend wanted to attach a camera in the middle of the dashboard and go up and fly, then yeah, I would probably and I hadn't read anything about it, I would go, yeah, no, that's not going to happen. Cuz again, you want to go for that safety first. But I don't know the things for sure. So I will look that up, and I'll find out, and I don't know. We'll see. I would ask somebody who has actually been flying longer if that would be an issue. Yeah. It's probably better to ask somebody else. I mean, aviation disasters are rarely anything obvious. It's usually things that on their own aren't a big deal but compound. Right. Right. But that's why if you have people who know how to recognize when it is something that could potentially lead to an issue, they address that immediately. So and that's so like I guess the the main potential, I don't know, crux of the answer would probably be like, yeah, it probably is potentially a distraction. Um, Again, it is. It's going to depend on how you do it. Because I would say if you do have at least one person flying the plane, I think you'd be fine. Then again, maybe not. I guess what it comes down to is no matter how you go about it, it'd be an increased risk. Question becomes, is the risk minimal enough to forge ahead? Right, and that's even like minimums questions, like weather minimums. where so over your airport, it's overcast, MVFR, whatever, and you see the lights breaking out over there where you're heading anyway. And you are below those minimums, you'll kind of have to go underneath it a little while and then pop up. Is that worth it? Is that, or if it's not below minimums and you can get a special permit, is that worth it? So it is that would be something that you'd actually have to. Where's the runway? I apparently crossed midfield, and we're entering a downwind. We're at 0.1 nautical miles, so we can start turning around and descending. So yeah, so it'd be one of those things where it would be up to each pilot, I guess. You'd have to find the right people who would feel comfortable enough doing that, and that probably would. That would be more skilled people. But that's what I'm saying, though, is at least, again, the shots where you'd want both actors in it, you might have to go the green screen route, at least for those bits. But if you had like a particularly experienced pilot who was comfortable flying the plane just in general with that there, they could just be on the opposite side while the other person is acting, right? If Sorry, one sec. I just want to find the runway. I think that's it, actually. Winterset traffic, Cessna Hotel Tree 1, Delta 1, left downwind. 1-4. Winterset. Oh no. So I guess you have options, and I would okay. Carb heat out. No more descending. Pitch that nose up. Sorry, I'm just gonna quick land. Winterset traffic, Cessna Hotel Tree 1, Delta 1, left base 1-4. Winterset. Oh, we do have that crosswind coming from 050, so this is going to be oh, shoot. So we're just going to go straight into, well, not going to go straight into final. We're going to go like so, and then we're going to go straight, oopsie daisy, into final. And we're going to idle completely. Oop, nope, we're going to power up a little bit more, actually. Oop, and we're not going to power up that much. And crosswind is that way. Oh, I'm getting pushed by the wind. Shoot. I would have throttled up and gone around. Short field. I'm better in the play. Okay. Dunno, figured you'd green screen it and use some flight hours to collect B-roll to use for the green screen. Right, right. And again, like, if it is, if it's done right, I'm sure it'll be fine. I had a I think I've seen a couple things recently that were not very well done, and it did. It wasn't good, and it was incredibly distracting. And so, from an aesthetic and creative viewpoint, it just does. It has to be done well. Because you can rig up a plane with a bunch of action cameras and collect good footage. Problem is, those tiny sensors and high FOV lenses don't lead to a good time for the personal shots. Okay. Oh gosh. Looking the other way. Was that for my horrendous landing? It was also because crosswind, and I just can't. I can't with these controls. So, oh, there's a NOTAM. Runway tree to right traffic pattern. Well, I'm glad I was doing 1-4. And this is why we always look beforehand, which I never do for these things. But yes, again, I will always say this, I am actually better in an actual plane. So yeah, I would ask pilots who are better than I than I am. But I do, again, just having one stationary thing there isn't, when you can move in 3 dimensions, I would say it's not going to be as big of an issue as you think. You know, some guys maybe put out some feelers. I would. I would. Cuz again, if you just let me, I don't, can I go like this? Okay, yeah. So like, oop, nope, that's the wrong one. Go here. There we go. So like, if you're like this and even smaller, right? So I'm just gonna go like this. Oop, that's hang on. Well, actually, hang on. I'm gonna go like this. I have. We'll use. Hang on. There, perfect. Ba boom. Haha, it is green. So if you're like this, right? And it's kind of ish like that, right? So this isn't this isn't working very well. See, I'd almost have to get in the air again, but so because you're also moving, you know what I mean? So like you're moving in 3 dimensions, kind of, and as you're going, your field of vision is always changing. So the only time that something is stationary is when it's coming right at you. But like I was saying before, is anything that's coming right at you like that is going to be in your field of vision, if that makes sense. I I would I again I would think. All right, I'm a so we yeah, we're not gonna worry about that. So okay, so maybe it's because you sim military too much, but when you're looking for dots, going from a Viper canopy to a Hornet canopy with a bow will make you foam at the mouth. Well, and that's the thing is, if you're strictly thinking of military aircraft, things are a lot slower in a plane. So again, if you have competent if you have competent enough pilots, that's going to be something that you'd have to figure out, and it would be the comfort level of each pilot as well. I wouldn't think it would be as much of an issue. Like it would probably be. I'll look it up in the FAR, but yeah, it would be something that it would be one of those things where it's a potential hazard, but like you said, you just kind of gotta you have to figure out whether it is enough of one. Knowing you're like in the sim or even a car, that one spot where you can't see is where everyone seems to show up. But again, you're 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 still constantly moving. So you have the whole you have more fluidity, more movement than you would think, I would say. And I could be absolutely wrong, but I would think that you should ask people who are more competent than I am. But that's what I would think. That's what I would think. Ah, we did not do our carb heat. Carb heat goes bloop. And then we avionics off. All of the lights. Excellent. Mixture goes out. Magneto and switch. And it's not gonna log it for me. And I would take a picture of the Hobbs time. I would put the control lock on. I would chalk the thing. I would gather all of my things. I would tuck it all in nice. And then we'd go back in the FBO and I would hopefully pass. Because again, I'm better in the actual plane than I was here. But the thing is, traffic is also constantly moving, which offers the possibility of them staying in the field of view that's blocked. Sure. Again, and it's one of those things where I think it's less of a possibility than you would think. Like the possibility is there, but it would be one of those not one in a million chances, but it's one of those where you'd probably take risks with the same odds in other ways. You've had that happen a lot in the sim too. But just how good is this? I I I I I don't know. I don't know. Don't know, maybe you're being paranoid, but that's good. If you heard the insane bad luck you've had throughout life, you just don't chance that stuff. Fair. And you know what? And that's something too, and that would be where your that level for oops, shoot. Um that would be you making that call. And that's why again, it would be each pilot making that call. Oops. Where's the other thing? So yeah, each pilot would have to make that call. You would have to make that call, and it is just kind of based on everybody else too. And I don't want to. So I'll share my traffic experiences because that's something that I want to work with my CFI on because it was it Saturday? Saturday was super nice out, right around where I am. And it was a really great day to fly. Plus, it was a Saturday. So, what would you think? Everybody's out flying. Like perhaps your luck is good, but your luck is so bad. Some guy in China ate a bat and took away all your life savings. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! And and yeah, and so that's the thing is that's why each pilot has to have his or her own personal minimums and decide personally what is worth that risk or not. But yeah, so and the thing is I saw way more traffic on ForeFlight than I and and heard it on the comms than I ever saw in person. And I was looking around, I was trying to find them, and like I did, I would look on ForeFlight and I'd be like, okay, so somebody is kind of coming in my direction, kind of at my altitude. So I'm like, okay, what do I need to do? I need to go up, I need to go down, I need to like spin around. And so, but I never met another plane. So, and it was all stuff like nearby. So even if, I mean, again, and I'm not saying like rely on the EFB, but even if you have that camera in front of you, there's other situations where you, like, again, I guess it does add to that inability to, it might add to that inability to see a potential traffic conflict, but there's all sorts of other ways that you might not see it either. So honestly, assuming it's legal, if you got two experienced pilots that you trust, you do it. But at the same time, it is a risk. So again, it's just figuring out if that's too much or not. Right. Right. And yeah, I would still ask people who have more hours in planes and have a greater comfort level and awareness of all of that, and again, for and have experience, I would probably say, with, I guess I would say, a greater amount of traffic. But then again, if you found a spot that was underpopulated, like, it would be less of, that would even make it less of an issue too. So like you could mitigate that potential extra risk of traffic in avoidance, that's a word now, with finding, hopefully, a rather open and not well traveled area, if that makes sense. So like if you did say, it's not that bad, but if I want just a little bit more safety margin, we're going to go over in this area where people don't really usually fly. Or I would say pick even a day that people might not fly, like say a very cold day where people don't usually like to fly, but you make it work because then, people aren't flying. That's what I like to do, actually. The other aspect, too, is it's on a coastline with unpredictable weather, even in the best of times. Oh, that's fair. And again, and that's something, too, that's something that I don't have as much any experience with. So, I don't know. I would ask people who actually know what they're talking about from like I guess I would like from an acting standpoint. I think that wouldn't be as much of an issue, just because, again, like, that's something that I have experience with. So it's, and again, and that's probably why I'm somewhat more towards, like, yeah, it probably wouldn't be an issue, because, like, I have experience with the acting, which, since I have experience with the acting, I know that you can just kind of like do stuff. Like, you have to work in conditions where you're not always going to have the best day, the best flow, the best whatever, and you just have to make it work. And you do that. You learn how to do that. So you just do that. So then as a pilot, you would do the same thing. You know what I mean? So we're talking like a year or two down the line. So assuming you continue to get more experience, is that something you personally be comfortable with given the circumstances and assuming legality? You don't even know if I'm any good. Acting wise, I've done it. You don't know if I'm actually any good at it. So um potentially, maybe, I guess. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not gonna be held to that though. Ask me how many pilots I know with a background in acting. Harrison Ford. There's one. Um, I don't know. And again, like if you get the if you get the right person, they also don't need to have that background. That's the thing. Is like acting, you can have as much technique as you want, but if you just need to not care about the camera too much. So, which mostly focusing on the theoretical aspect. Right. If you want to volunteer, you say no. Okay. Um, but no. So you don't. You don't. I mean, like you do. Some of the best actors were like, I would. I would think no. I don't know, but and especially for something like this, if it's if you just have somebody who like or people who act naturally and I don't know. I just like the experiences that I've had with the pilot community is like they don't give that much of an F. So, you know, in hindsight you think you really hijacked my stream. No, see, okay, I did. I got the stuff in that I wanted to get in. And I've missed this stuff a lot. I've been casually looking at trying to get back into it. So it's something where like Charlie gets to talk about his music and stuff and his mentoring stuff that he doesn't his those chops that he doesn't get to all the time. That's my sort of a thing. That was 15 to 20 years of my life that I don't do anything with anymore. So it is. It's something that I really like thinking about and I used to be all up on that stuff. But yeah, so I had a great time. Honestly, picture Charlie as the boomer pilot in the movie. That would be amazing. Why? It would be amazing. I think it'd be great. That would be amazing. I'd watch the hell out of that. Cuz he's done theatrical stuff. It'd be great. It'd be amazing. You should really get on this so that I would I love this thought exercise. No, he's open to using newer techniques and methods, but visually he fits that character perfectly right. And he knows all the old stuff too. Exactly. And like he is. He's very aware. He is safety focused and everything. So you could even ask him. He'd probably be able to let you know, like, if you have a camera there, it's probably not the best. Don't tell him if he says, yeah, you shouldn't do that. Don't tell him that that I said you probably could. If you find out specifically otherwise, let me know, but don't tell anyone else that I said that you probably could. But definitely let me know. Oh gosh. Oh, and now all this. Oh, well, I'll find out. At least this wasn't my actual check ride, so I will. I'll have a different answer for the DPE if he ever asks. Don't tell him that you said he'd fit your boomer character. Okay, that sounds good. I won't. Well, okay, but here's the thing. Boomer doesn't need to be a bad thing. I won't. I won't. I won't tell him so that you won't tell him. But I do. I think he'd be great as that character. And well, okay. And that's here's the thing. So specifically, so have you seen Harry Potter, the fifth one with the pink chick, Umbridge? Like, it's a horrendous character, and it's a horrendously described character. She's a frog, and she's just ugh. And the actress, people would tell her, "Oh, you're perfect for that part." Pink chick, Harry Potter, the anime. Wait, what? No, like the evil chick in pink, Umbridge, the one teacher. So okay, so this is just a for instance. So there is this character. She's frog-like. She's disgustingly pink. Okay, she's evil and frog-like and disgustingly pink and like sickly sweet and just like an overall horrendous character, right? That's how she's described. And the actress who got it did a great job. And apparently people told her that, "Oh yeah, you're perfect for that part." What exactly does that mean? So like he's perfect for the part in the visual and ability sort of aspect, if that makes sense. In a very good way. And he does. He would have I think he would have those acting chops to play that sort of a role. I think so. It's not it and I would also say if you're gonna be in the acting business, you have to have a thick skin. Because you're gonna get cast as things that you probably don't want to. So he just fits the character so well, honestly. Well, and that's the thing too, is if you're writing it with him in mind, then there's nobody else who really can. So if it were me and him, oh my god, that'd be fun. But again, you don't know if I'm actually any good. So I don't know. As a thought exercise, that would be amazing. That would be really fun. But yeah, I'm not going to be held to anything though. Again, ask you how many pilots you know with a background in acting. Right. Well, but at least two of us, and that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Oh, that's fun. Oh, I do. I do miss these things. We'll see. That's all 2 out of 2. Well, you gotta go find some more. You gotta go find some more pilots. You gotta go find some more pilots, and then you have a bigger pool, and potentially a better talent. So yeah, I've been out of the business for a little while. So yeah, that was fun. I like yeah. Either way, I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be amazing. Like you said, it's something you want to do someday, but obviously can't commit to anything. Right. But the idea won't leave your head. And aren't those the ones that you usually should go for? The ones that will not leave unless it's a song, and then it just gets stuck in your head and it's an earworm and it's annoying. I don't know. But yeah, I'll see if the FAR says anything about that, so that you could, I mean, if you wanted to move on from that thought aspect of it. And I'd go find a little airport close by that's got a rental and just be like, "Hey, can I check out the plane? I just want to see if this would work." And you can even ask them and they might know. And you could even ask them, be like, "Hey, would you be comfortable with this?" And they'd be like, "Yeah." Or they'd be like, "No." So, at the very least, it's fun to fantasize about. Right. Because it would. It would be amazing. It would be, oh, it would be great. And that's the thing too. Is it one of those things where it's better in the mind and you can never get it as good as you could imagine it to be? But if you think you could, and if you think it's worth the risk to try, you might as well. Right? I think so. Yeah. Imagine making what would take Hollywood $50 million with only a few grand. Right. Right. And and that goes into marketing and figuring out how to get that word out without um without having to spend that much. And you might have you have some, not a solid base, I guess. I don't know how many like pilots actually watch pilot movies, but it would you there yeah, that's even further down the road. Mostly actors and special effects studios that are overpriced. Right. Can spend like $100 on Facebook and get a decent turnover. Right, exactly. And it okay. So I guess that goes into um do you what's your end goal for it, I guess? Like, do you just want to get it made? Or how much return on it are you interested in? So, like, do you just want to have it and be like, look at this. Look at how great this looks. Look at how great it is. Don't have an end goal. Goal is to just make it. Right. And that is. So that's the thing. That would be. So, yeah. Yeah. So it is as long as you're satisfied with it and you have it. If anything, you want to watch it in a local movie theater. So like you rent it out and have them put it in there, or it's in there because it's in there, if that makes sense. And I'm sorry, I do. I like detangling things. So, and I like to understand all of the little ins and outs. So I apologize. But cuz I mean, if you wanted to watch it in a local movie theater, I'm pretty sure you could just rent out a theater and have them play it. Could just ask them for an off-hour screening and advertise it. Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's the thing is if that's what your goal is and as long as you're satisfied with it, then then yeah, that's all you got to do. I was going to say it shouldn't be too hard. But no, it is. And I bet too, like if you're working through these headaches, um, during still the fun fantasize phase of it, then by the time you actually get to where you're really knocking it out, you already took care of all the real headaches. Let you ask, how far would you want me to take it? I don't know. It just that's why I was asking is you said you wanted to stick it to Hollywood, and I guess I was just wondering what your definition of that was. Because that's the thing too is because if it's just kind of for your own, because if anything you could attempt a Kung Fury method. It sounds familiar, but I am not familiar. But if it's something where it's like a sort of, I don't even know what the term for it is. I almost want to say like dark horse isn't the right word, but along those lines. Right, exactly. Make a go viral post on YouTube, enjoy all the ad revenue. Oh, okay. So it's just a movie that's on YouTube then. Well, and and yeah, if you just want to stick it to Hollywood, not all tech, then yeah, you could go that route. Honestly, don't know, haven't got that far. Okay, and I'm sorry. That's why I always do. I always when it's something like that, I'm always like trying to like build a base and find all the dark, shadowy corners and where it all extends to, and then start building it up. So that's why asking how far you want me to go with it, because I just haven't thought about it. I don't know. That's why I was just it would be it is it's your project, so I was just curious about how far you'd want to go. So I was assuming one thing based on what you said, but um but yeah, if it is, if that's all you want from it, then that's a lot, it's a lot easier than actually trying to, I don't want to say contrive, but kind of contrive that virality. um so yeah, stops being just my project when others get involved. But that's, I don't like to like insert myself into things, but I do like to think about things and help out where I can. I'm cool with it, like not like I don't it is it's yours, I'll help out. But so it, because, and again, I'll throw this out there too. Again, I was gonna be an actress, I was gonna be told where to go, what to do, what to wear, what to say. So I'm cool with just like the helping out without it being like my thing, if that makes sense. So yeah, so it's like if you just tell me what you want, I can find all those, again, like those little nooks and crannies that you got to think about, um to actually potentially make that happen, if that makes sense. It doesn't mean I'm going to do a good job at it again, but honestly don't know any good GA movies, so at the very least we're hitting an unserviced niche. Right. So yeah, exactly. Part of the inspiration to take it up. Right. Right. And again, and that's something too where y- it does have to be a balance for like, okay, what do you want to get out of it, and who are you making it for, and what are they actually going to want to see, without again paying too much potential fan service and losing that spark that comes from that root of where it started, if that makes if that makes sense. So yeah, so that would be, if it's just for you, then I mean that's all you kind of have to think about. If you are looking to actually disperse it to a certain community or viewership, you look into that as well. You make sure that you have any and all, not any and all, but those, enough of those elements where it's going to be um, appealing. And then if you want it is it's a layer thing. If it's just for you, you just got to worry about you. If it's for a certain audience, you focus a little bit more on that certain audience. If you want it to have an even wider appeal, then you have all of those things plus some degree of wider appeal. So yeah, but yeah, for you personally, just saying, being able to say, look at that badass thing you just did, right, is enough for you, but at the same time, money is nice. Right, exactly. So, and I guess that's probably a good way to look at it too, is just do it for do it for you. Don't expect anything from it, but definitely put um uh those those bricks in place so that if if that opportunity does present itself, then you're good. If that makes sense. I feel like I'm just babbling at you now. I'm sorry. But I do. That's the I do. I like thinking about this stuff, and I like the movie stuff, and I also like just kind of picking stuff apart and planning things and trying to get all the pieces where they need to be. And yeah, so that's yeah. That's my personality, and that's why I like babbling about um somewhat philosophical, existential, I almost wanted to say schemy sort of things, but like, yeah, it's a little bit. So yeah, so again, do it for you. Put those bricks in place, and hope for the best, and do the best. Yeah, honestly, when it comes to marketing, you're no expert, but you can pretty decent at it when you actually try. Right, and well, okay, and this is the thing too. So maybe it's something to think about. Right, and and that's the thing too is to some degree marketing is super easy depending on what you're willing, how you're willing to go about it, I guess. Um and again, it depends on who you're marketing it to. So it does. It depends on what you're willing to do, and it depends on who you're trying to target anyway, and what is going to be appealing for those people, and what is going to be a turn off for those people. And then again, going into that next layer of wider appeal, like, yeah. So yeah, targeted ads and social media is scary effective. You can get a few thousand clicks just with like $2. I just I don't like I because I'm so aware of that stuff, it just I never ever click on ads. Ever. If I ever see something that, like, even if I'm like Googling something, like if it has ad on it and it's exactly what I'm looking for, I make sure to go and find one that does not say ad. Out of 2,000 clicks, if two people buy $5 of the product, you turn a profit. Right. But again, it's just what, and that's why I did. I used to be all into this stuff, like again, like with the acting, and then what you had to do for like marketing and stuff. Like, not that I ever really got into that, but just I'm aware of what you need to do and how all of that stuff works. So I do. I'm just so words I can't say because I'm a lady, against that stuff now, and it just makes me so angry that I just I can't if I did, if I wanted to like do like I do I have various endeavors that I could and would want to do, and like even this thing There's better stuff that I could be doing in order to get more out there. You know what I mean? But I'm not willing to do that. So, and because I think I burned myself out on spectacle, and it does, it appalls me at how effective it is. And yeah, I don't know. But this is like a me sort of a thing where I don't. You got 3 ad blocks and multiple script blockers, not inherently against it, just don't like how it's abused nowadays by big tech. Right. But that's a rabbit hole. Right. I don't know. I also have like a philosoph I don't know if philosophical is necessarily the right word, but I just okay, this might sound bad, but what is it? And again, and again, and again. Like, I wonder what does it say about people that fall for that stuff? But then again, like I have a certain experience with that I can't expect other people to have. I don't know. This is like a whole like thing that yeah. Like it does. It gets it like this sort of stuff kind of like gets into why I actually got out of the acting to begin with, cuz I do. I hate how I hate how fake and manipulative stuff is. So yeah, that's where that comes in. Big tech is 99% of the internet nowadays. Right. Most people don't have a choice. But you make the choices that you can. Because if if enough people just like and I think that has been like shown in the past, but if enough if enough people gave up just like a little bit, like just enough that yeah, if everybody just gave up a little bit, like it would at least be a blow, I would say, I would think. Targeted ads can make advertising actually useful, but with how intrusive companies are to gather information to use those targeted ads is where it gets disgusting. Sure, sure. Yeah. Um one of the things that like I think about though is one of the things that I'm going to be a little bit unladed, like one thing that pisses me off the most. And it's like when you're on a website, right? And you go to click out of it or even just to change a tab and it's like, "Wait, before you go." I despise it. I despise it so much and I do. I know that it works, but it just irritates me. And it's one of those things for me where it's like, okay, if I and again, this is and maybe I'll eat my words at some point, but if I if that person oh god, if that person who is going to click out or whatever needs to be like, "Wait, hold on." And I guess if it's not a matter of money or anything, I'm okay with them going elsewhere. I don't know. Like it is. It's something that I'm trying to find a balance with because I was into all that kind of thing. Could kind of say I guess that I bought into it to some degree for most of my life and relatively recently I kind of took a different viewpoint on it. So I'm still in the process of trying to figure it out. People just don't know better, sadly. I know, and that's what I'm trying to figure out and trying to yeah, trying to come to terms with. You're old enough to remember a non-centralized internet, but the internet was still niche back then. Vast majority of the population joined post Facebook. Right. Right. Yeah. And that is that's I'm absolutely aware of that, but I'm also like I do. I there's certain times where I'm like, well, if I can figure it out, I feel like other people should be able to figure it out. Like I'm not special at all, but I do get that like people do have different experiences. Um, so like I said, I'm still trying to come to terms with it. Now, even if you hate these companies, there just are no viable alternatives, and that's a really sad part. Right. Yeah. Um yeah, that's it's actually incredibly relevant for me right now. So yeah, and that's what that is. That's probably what, again, a little bit unladylike warning. That's what pisses me off the most is that it's so cornered. And that's why I've gotten to the point where I'm like, you know what? Well, I'm just going to do without. And in a lot of ways, like I'm figuring out how to do that, and like what do I actually need and or want. And the the needs are very few once you actually like strip all that away, and the wants are even fewer when you actually like let yourself be deprived a little bit and figure out what is actually important, what and not even and again, it doesn't even necessarily have to be like stuff you can't live without, but if you just again, getting back to the at least just start sanding it down. Just find those things just a little bit at a time, and eventually you find that core, I would think. Like you've tried lots of alternative tech, right? But it's all just people who've been outcast by society. So basically political fringes and crazy people. Sure. And that's so okay, so I won't get into specifics or anything, but like right now, I've been trying to help somebody figure out a new piece of tech that they got from a non big tech thing. And it, it does like what it does come down to what are you willing to put up with, because the non big tech things are not going to have the customer service, like that access, that ease of access. They're not going to have everything as streamlined as, or the yeah, the littler things are not going to have the yeah, not going to have it as streamlined, not going to have as many of the kinks figured out. And are you willing to put up with those kinks yourself in order to not be a part of, be under that thumb? So and it is like, and that's why I'm saying is if you find the little things and you do away with those, or you find an alternative to those and you learn to live with potential minor inconveniences, because that's a big thing, is it's all about convenience. And we've gotten so used to that convenience, that it is difficult to go back, and you have higher expectations for things, and that's why it's just learning to adjust. And again, just finding those little things at first and just kind of like carving out what you can actually live with. The solution has been to fortify yourself with ad blocks and script blockers. See them trying to piece you together, but they just can't. Use their services to get ahead, and they get nothing in return. Right. I'm trying to, like, yeah, I'm I don't have anything specifically ad blocking, but I don't know. I think okay, I don't okay, this is going to I don't know. I don't know. Um this might be way out there whatever. Have you ever read the book Feed? Because it's I read this back in like 2013 and it is insanely like relevant and it has that entire kind of storyline to it. And it's actually like it's a really good book, interesting, kind of scary perspective. Oops. Um but yeah. I don't know if you ever got time and you're interested in reading a sci-fi book, um, that it's it's pretty good. Find a lot of these dystopian tech stories relevant nowadays. Oh yeah, one I had a class that was basically specifically I can't remember specifically what it was called, but it was all about tech, space stuff, basically all futuristic stuff, including tech, AI, space, um, general, even internet culture, as well as drugs and how those affect things. So I got to read a lot of stuff like that, and you got your basics, the 1984 Brave New World, which are amazingly relevant. Feed is really relevant to that. Um, Targeted ad stuff, and as well as trying the effects of trying to um, potential effects of trying to manipulate that system or try to confuse that system. But yeah, yeah. Sorry. Trade you your recommendation for another one. Okay, I'm ready. Suggest Ghost in the Shell standalone complex. Okay. The go is that a book? I do know the Ghost in the Shell was made into a movie, right? Each day it ages like wine. Oh no. Hang on. Let me. Uh, Actually, I'll just. Cause yeah, didn't they make that one into a movie? Oh, it was a television series. Started as a manga, then adapted to movies. With standalone complex, it was rebooted into a 2 season series. Oh, okay, sounds good. Okay, excellent. Okay, I will add that to my post Checkride watch list. And is it hang on. So it's an anime series then. Wait, it was in 2002? Standalone complex. I'm confused because I thought the movie came out recently. Started as a manga. Standalone. So it was a manga and then it was the soundtracks. Ooh, excellent. I love soundtracks. Okay, I will. I'm going to add that to my list. Am I reading that wrong? No. Okay. Excellent. Awesome. Into 2 season series. Mine says 1 season, so I'll have to look. New movie is the new movie is another reboot. Okay, sounds good. Oh, of course it is, because what isn't? Okay, excellent. Oh, yes. Second season is called Second Gig. Okay. Oops. Duplicate. Uh. Okay. I don't know, unless Google is just lying to me. Excellent. I'm looking forward to it because I do. I do enjoy these things. Not so much now that it's all actually coming true, but it is. It's I don't know. At least there's people who are aware of it, I guess. For you personally who researches warfare, this series is becoming scarily accurate. Yeah. Okay. I am. I'm and it does. It does make you wonder. Not not in like a weird sort of way. Just be warned, some scenes are hard to watch, very maturely themed. I'm not easily offended or I've seen worse things than you would probably think. I think. I don't know. Um so yeah, I guess I'm not sure quite what you're referring to, but I can like mentally kind of go through the potential gambit gambit. Can't remember which one it is now. So not easily offended either, but they don't hold back on some of the writing. I'm cool with that. Honest, I do. As long as it's good writing, I don't necessarily care what the content is. You want to tell me, but you also don't want to spoil. I don't want you to spoil either. I hesitated, which is funny because I used to be all about do not spoil things for me, but I don't know. I might have gotten a little bit less, or maybe I haven't. I don't know. See, but this is the thing: is if it's good enough, even if I find out, it doesn't spoil it. I learned that during Edgar Allan Poe. I would accidentally spoil some of them for me, and it didn't even matter. It hit. It hit just as hard as if I hadn't known it anyway. So that's why I think spoilers are such a bad. Well, sorry, this is getting into other stuff, but like, if it is, it's if you can spoil something, then it probably wasn't that great to begin with. Because how else are you going to watch something over and over again when you already know what happens? Do you get what I mean? Kind of ish, if that makes sense. I'm not saying you need to, I'm not saying you need to spoil it for me. But okay. Is it lose that sense of discovery when watching though if you know ahead of time? Sure. I do. I do get that. So, yeah. I'll wait. I'll wait and I'll find out. And I'm looking forward to it. Cuz I did. I my life was TV shows and movies and books, but it was and I miss that stuff. And every time I try to find another one, like something good, I always start judging it because it is. It's I don't know if I'm just I've just become not I don't think it's pretentious. It's just I have a certain standard that I don't think a lot of things can live up to anymore. Yeah, if you want to link me that reading recommendation, you can take a look at it. Oh, okay, sure. I'm trying to remember if. Yeah, I don't think there's anything weird. Yeah, it's well, I'm trying to think if feed book. Um, young. Okay. Uh, so I guess I'm not sure. Yeah, we'll just do this one. We'll use Wikipedia. How's that sound? Oops. Where is it? Link in the Discord. Do the same. Sure, sure. Yeah, we can do that. Excellent. That sounds good. Because yeah. That sounds good. And I guess if you're interested in um I don't know if you're really that into reading. I know some people are like really like not very averse to it. Um and especially if it's a really long one. There's one, it's a three-part, it's a yeah, it's a three-part series, I think. And it does. It goes I feel like there's enough actual science in it for it to be interesting and worthwhile, and then it gets into more theoretical, philosophical, and into the downright out there. Um, the shoot, what is it called? The three body problem is the first one. Remembrance of Earth's past. That one was super interesting. Just just for kind of the concepts, but then also recognition of society and how it would deal with certain things. And it actually, again, unladylike warning, it pissed me off because it was I don't know. That's more of a like if you're willing to take the time to get through all of it. That's another good one. But feed, I read it again, not too recently, but it did. It was scarily relevant to today, and just kind of what's the word? Almost nauseating and sad about how things are. But yeah, I'll go ahead and do that. And can't say you're super interested. I know. I would assume if it's interesting and you're bored, then you'll probably take a look. So yeah, yeah, the feed one's pretty. If you're willing to go for one of them, that one is probably the one to go for. The other ones, it's a lot denser and a lot more, and yeah. So I will. I'll send you that one. You send me that link so that I don't lose it. And yeah, and that was flying for a little bit, and then a lot of just BSing about fun and not so fun stuff in a fun way, if that makes sense. So yeah, I did. I had a good time. I do. I like going on about this sort of stuff, obviously, but I don't get to all that often because not a lot of people are that into it. Turned into a just chatting stream. Yes, it did. This is true. There was flying at the beginning, but yeah, that was okay. It was good. I do. I have time before my Checkride now, which is unfortunate and fortunate at the same time. So I'm being a little bit more chill, I guess. You got a good one? A good one what? I do also have to say too though, like I do. I have so many books to read, so I have to make sure that I'm getting into those when you think you might. You got a good one? You think you might? Okay. I'm anticipating. Link of representative scenes. You want to be careful. So, like, trailer? Not trailer, but just like a. Think this one might work. Okay, okay. Am am I supposed to watch it right now, or are you gonna link it in my Discord? This is turning into a reaction channel. Link it in the Discord. Okay, you imagine you want to get off. I probably should. Honestly, this has been fun though. Like I said, I shouldn't. I'm not. I shouldn't start slacking now, but I do. I have a little bit of time before Checkride, so I can be a little bit more lenient. But I also don't want to be. So like, yeah. So but I don't get to go over stuff like this much because it's not a lot of people like to go over this sort of stuff. You know what I mean? Just because it's to most people it's not that fun, right? I get a certain amount of glee even when it's yeah, like dystopian and stuff. It's, I like puzzling it out. So yes, so yes, um, yeah, we'll go ahead and probably leave that there. Never have anything going on. So if you want to go over more Doomer stuff, you can hit me up. Sure, sounds good. That sounds perfect. And it doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be Doomer stuff if you actually figure out how to counteract it. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, so if you do it in a proactive sort of a way, it can be fun. I don't know. I I think I'm just weird, but yeah, that sounds good. If you're willing to put up with me, that sounds just fine. Perfect. So yes, pretty doomer. Just working on getting your life set up where you can just watch the chaos from afar. That sounds good too. I like that. I like that. And and I guess it is. I guess it's more. It is. It's more doomer if you're right in the thick of it, and you and you feel like there's no way out. So that's why again you gotta talk about it and find out right away early on where those ways out are. Aha. Or like you said, get your life set up where you can just be out of it. More you know, the more depressing. But then the more you know and the more depressing it is, and the more you know that the more depressing it is, the more you have to uh that was going to come out wrong. The more you have to just kind of take charge of that aspect and be like, well, it's the way it is, so either what are we going to do about it or deal with it? The less you know, less likely to create solutions. Exactly. Exactly. So it is. As always, it's a balancing act. And that's the thing, like, and that's the thing too, is if you get to that, the more you know, the more depressing it is, you might as well just keep going so that the more you know, the better you are at actually potentially finding those solutions. Boom. So it's like you don't want to just stick in the depressing phase. I don't know. And it is. It's one of those things where you think about what is it? Ignorance is bliss sort of thing. And if you could go back to where you knew less, would you? And I don't know. I guess if you want to go like percentage wise or guess. And I guess it depends on what it is too. And that's all. That's, yes, it's context and everything. But see, and for me, well, okay, so what would your answer be? Okay. But so Would it be a solid you wish you could? Or would it be a kind of dependent on the context? Would it be somewhat like maybe a little bit, maybe like if it was certain instances? I also really like to psychoanalyze people too. So if you're not willing to do that, you can go ahead and just be like, no, I'm not answering your stupid questions. I do. Like, everything's a puzzle for me, and I have to figure it out. It's hard for you to say because those times were indeed simpler. It wasn't dystopian like it is now. While you were young and ignorant, it's not as simple as that. Right. Right. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. I guess so. What I don't know if you want to go like percentage or just, I don't know, ballpark estimate, whatever. If you could go back to those times, then sure. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. Even if things are still going to be the way they are now. Going back to those times is chasing a better situation, not bliss, like we talked about. Okay. So I guess differentiate. Like, would you go back to that time specifically, like where you're specifically in that time in that situation, or is it a you just wish you like right now you wish you didn't know as much as you do? Going back to the or rather ignorant bliss, right? But again, so I guess I would try and make that distinction because I'm not quite sure if I'm understanding. Yeah, so like, would you go back to that perceived simpler time? Okay. So these are the options. Are you saying that you would rather be that younger self at the time, or would you like to, as you are now, go back to that time minus all the stuff that is inherent to this time, potentially? I don't know. Or you just wish you didn't know now what you know now. Seeking bliss through a more ideal situation rather than ignorance. Well, and I guess that would be a question too. Was that time as ideal as you remember it as well? Because because that's the thing too is we've talked about like the movies, the entertainment and stuff, and there's certain decades where people are like, oh, that was the best and everything. And I've watched like certain older movies and even songs from those certain decades, and you can already see where that stuff is starting to come in. So again, sure, it might have been not as bad, but is that, I don't know, is that really where you want to hold your standard? Is just not as bad? Well, then you could go back to like just a couple months ago or just like even a couple years ago. If you uh if it's a fact then, or an accepted fact, that things are getting progressively worse, if that makes sense, demonstrably better, honestly. Okay, when it comes to TV, animation, video games, internet, it was all far better. And I guess it depends on what time frame that you're looking at too, because okay, so when I'm looking at like and it also depends on like variables and stuff, like are you talking about based on volume kind of, and because like hang on. You prefer a timeline where it all evolved for the better instead of devolved, but here we are. Oh, right, exactly. But and okay, so we've talked about like potential like timeline things. So as a thought exercise, and this is probably getting way too deep in things, but as a thought exercise, why are we in the timeline that we are now? Because if we look at like objectively what where should it go, right? We are getting philosophical now, and that's the thing. You brought up timeline, so and this is the thing. This is why are we in the timeline we're in? Kind of, kind of, but and there's a rabbit hole and a thread to pull on for that one too. But I won't go there. I won't go there. But if we're in the timeline we're in now, why? Because I would say logically, there's got to be a reason. And there's something, there's a funny one where I can't remember where it was, but it was like, okay, so just think about this. Every other time, like we're in a a weird timeline. Why are we in this messed up timeline? Because in every other timeline, everybody got nuked. So this is the last surviving one, and it's because it's the most insane. Because oh my god, I use that all the time. All the time, all the time, all the time. Sorry, I do. Yes, I do. I use that all the time. And we are at where the weak men created the bad times. And and that's the thing too, is so yeah, and it does. So like if you go fully into that, and if everything is just cyclical like that, so and that's where we're at. So where does it go from there? So are we going to be the strong men? And I will throw myself into the men category because I don't mind. I can take it. I am a woman and I don't care. Anyway, we won't get into that now. But yeah, so if that's where we're at and we can recognize that that's where we're at, then what do we want to do? Like, do we want to just do you want to be part of moving it into the next cycle, or do you just want to live out your life and however best it is? And it is, you're going to get all sorts of people with all sorts of different answers. And this gets into more stuff, but like the people who make the actual change are very few. Sometimes it does take a greater number of people to be behind whatever cause that is to give it traction, but most people are just going to want to, again, not care about this sort of stuff, and they're just going to try and live out their lives, want to live out their lives, just going to live out your life. Exactly. And that's perfectly legitimate. By bettering the individual, you better the collective. Right, exactly. That's why we must all focus on bettering ourselves, but that lesson has been forgotten. Right, no, exactly. Yep. And that's why, and that's something though too, where so you have this cyclical thing, but in what circumstances? Just past circumstances, because now you have like the tech where before, if you bettered yourself, it would likely get. I do. I do feel like tech does kind of throw a little bit of a wrench in it, where I don't know how to like explain, but if you specifically, so many people live within that bubble that if you're outside of that bubble and bettering yourself, nobody's ever actually going to see that and recognize that. Technology has simply accelerated the timeline, honestly. But sure, but are we? So that's why I'm saying is, has technology run us off that cycle where we can't get back to that the strong men part, rather the abuse of technology? Yes, too, because I absolutely love technology. I was all into that stuff. I want to know all the things. I want to do all the things. I want, like, what are we capable of? But nobody's using it correctly. That's again, and I'm being melodramatic because I am. But it is. It's abuse and misuse, and yeah. So, so yeah. So that's what I'm saying is, because that technology, and I'll lump the entertainment in there as well, it has such a, and like I'll go in with the social media too, where everything is such, it's all fake and built on facades and people putting up a front, that people internalize that and feel like that's what it is, and it's that sort of like a feedback loop sort of thing, so that if you're a part of that and you're in that, that's all you know, that's all you do. Like it has, it's, I feel like it has really kind of, that goes back to okay, sorry. Ultimately, every time the cycle occurs, technology has advanced, but it still happens. Sure. Okay. I guess we'll see. If you don't learn from history, you beat it. Right, exactly. Technology has changed, but the common denominator is humans. Right. Well, and so that's something that we talked about in the one class that I had, where it's like, okay, is there going to be a time at which there will be a, like, a split of humanity where you will be able to, like, with with cyber tech, with like, in like we already have like drugs with like steroids and stuff like that, where you eventually, depending on how long it takes, whatever, I don't know, it's been a while, but like where at some point you're going to have the group of people who evolves normally as they would, and then there's going to be the group of people who goes full technology whatever and evolves along with that, and there's going to be that split where there's that gap that you can never cross. Like, as an example, with like the sports stuff, where in order to, like, you're not supposed to do drugs and everything, but in order to get anywhere within those arenas, you have to. So if anyone wanted to, like, and is that a thing? Is that going to be something where you're going to have your natural born humans and your advanced, your altered humans, and there's going to be that divide, right? So that's the thing, is you say that the denominator is humans, and so that denominator is changing. Be shocked at how much cheating is already involved in esports, right? And and the, and that's like it does come back to that. um for me, it all comes back to, like, all of these things, like, again, the marketing, the acting, the the sports stuff, all of that, where it is all based on lies. And I have so many avenues that I'm going with this, but like, so it is. It's like, what is the actual point? But people still like it. They still do it because of that spectacle. And that's one of the big things too, is it's spectacle. It's, and I'll use this, I'll go back to the cupcake. So usually you got your cupcake, right? It's your nice little cupcake. The cupcake's good on its own, but you know what? It's a lot better with like the frosting and the sprinkles and some filling, right? But if you drown it in frosting or you just eat that frosting all by itself, it's not good for you. I mean, and again, it kind of falls apart because technically the cupcake's not that good for you either. But if you're going to have like that little bit of spectacle, keep it in balance. I think the big takeaway is, as humans, we are flawed, so we need to work on overcoming those flaws. Instead, currently we indulge in those flaws. Exactly. And that's something too where I am going to have to go. But one of the things where okay, I'll I don't know how, I don't want to come off as what's the word? Unfeeling, but one of the things is you look at what did I I do. What did entertainment used to be? It used to be people, well, and again, and this, there's different contexts, but like just specifically in this context. So like you used to have, like, yeah, used to have the superheroes. You used to have the I'll I'll go into this too. You used to have the the leading men and women, the that sort of a thing, where it was a certain type of person. And you know what? Even with like the Captain Kirk stuff, where that was, these are people who you can look up to, right? You see these characters and you can try to emulate, right? But nowadays, it's more of like everybody wants to see someone who's just like them, right? But when you do that, you 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 shrink your bubble, for one, and for two, if you see people who have the exact same flaws as you and they don't do anything about it, like you were saying, you indulge in those. So it doesn't do anything for you. Sure, you might feel better about it for a little bit, but you never actually get rid of it. And that's the thing too, is the louder you shout about how, or the louder people shout about how they feel fine the way they are, and how they don't care how other people see them, the more I'm like, yeah, you probably do. You're just trying to cover that up, because that's usually how it works. And that's the thing, is it's again, on one hand, it's misuse of that sympathetic or empathetic angle, where yes, show the people who have the flaws that you have, but also show how they can better them or deal with them in a better way, rather than just saying it's fine that you're like this, sort of thing. There's something to be said for a character that's relatable. Of course. Yep. You're gone way beyond that into chasing the lowest common denominator. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And there was a video or something where it's like the main thing was like, if we're a herd or whatever, just if we're a herd, most herds, they are as strong as their weakest link. So if we are we're indulging, And and some people, that's the thing too, is all they need is that little push. And if we coddle people, they're not getting that little push, and they are not finding, like, it is not I did I indulgence is not kindness. And that's all it is because if you are like I actually I usually write about this stuff, so I actually come off more loquacious and yeah, that sort of a thing. But it is, indulgence is not kindness. You're not helping somebody by not helping them realize, by allowing them to not realize their potential. Yeah, sure, you're kind in the moment, but where does that actually get them? Absolutely nowhere. Because, and again, I don't want to seem unfeeling or anything, but I don't even know if I want to get into that, but if you teach people that I don't know how to do that yet. You'd be shocked how many delusional people you've met in Overwatch that just could not handle the fact that they're bad at the game. Oh no. End result is they never get better. Because they don't get better, they never win. Right. Because they don't win, they don't get joy from the game. Exactly. Exactly. And this is why too, like, I mean, you said too where you don't feel like you fit in to like any of this stuff. And it's like I don't either, because it's like I don't want to tell people what to do, what to think, and I know other people have different experiences than I do. But at the same time, I'm not going to sit there and put up with that BS when I'm perfectly fine over here not doing that. I'm perfectly fine doing without that. And it's like and I don't know. It's I don't know, like, what do you do, and do you do anything? That's the question. Is like, first, do you do anything? I mean, yes or no? If yes, then how are you supposed to go about doing that? Because are they not too far gone, but like too kind of too far down that path that you're not going to get through anyway? Name of the game is mindless self-indulgence and rampant narcissism. Just can't get into it. Right. And I think we were talking about something similar. It is. All of this stuff connects. It's a big old web. It's a very intricate web that all connects in every way. It's just finding all those pieces to go along with it. So you ignore it and you focus on yourself, right? A creative person, so you create and simply hope people in the future can appreciate it someday with wiser eyes. Right. And that's a really big thing too, where maybe what you make is shite, but who knows? Well, okay, so and here's the thing too. You look at all of the I mean, again, and back then, you look at all of the biggest names of things, so many of them were not recognized during their time. So and that's well, if you're into reading philosophy, um there was one, it was Schopenhauer, I can't remember what it was called, but that was one of the things where you have those people who are not recognized in their time for what they are, because there is a contextual, and I might be going off. So that was that. So like there's people who aren't recognized in their time because there's always a contextual barrier there. So once you remove that idea, that creation from that context, and you put it in a different time, so in that future where they can look at it, I would say a lot of times it depends, more objectively, where they're not bound by the context of the time. And that's why I think that there is there is objective beauty, wisdom, truth, all of those things, because that is a possibility, if that makes sense. So yeah, and that is that, cuz cuz it is, if that's something, if you want to try to do something but you're not going to put in that, not necessarily like, not time or effort, but if you want it to be just what it is and you don't worry about trying to get it out there or anything, yeah, it probably isn't. It goes back to that marketing thing. If you go ahead and market it so that people will actually accept it and get into it, like, how much is too much? Like, how much do you sugar that pill so that it goes down, but so that it's not just all sugar, if that makes sense? And so, like, yeah, so if you are, if, or like you said, just put it out there, and the people who, and that is too, is what do you believe in, like, universe or whatever, like if stuff is supposed to come back to a certain point or get to a certain point, if you at least put it out there, it's going to get where it needs to go, sort of thing. When it comes to art, you say there is an objective foundation from which we build a subjective construction. Sure, and applies to a lot of things. Sure. and and that does that can get into like the into deeper things too, where that's why we could go on for hours. But and it does. It depends on the it it depends on the perspective and the scale you're measuring it with. But I do think that there's always some degree of objectivity, but I do think it gets mired a lot by subjectivity, I guess. And that objectivity might not be something actually solid. It's more, and again, that goes back to Schopenhauer, where it's like, what is the self, basically, and what is purpose and everything, because how how do you experience life? Through your senses. So, like, what is each object? You're like, okay, so this is the turtle, right? But turtle is just a label for that thing, but it's also not a turtle. And now I'm getting into other stuff, but basically, like, okay, so I can see the turtle. What color is the turtle? I feel the turtle, but that is still not the turtle. What I see of the turtle is not the turtle. What I feel of the turtle is not the turtle. The turtle is something that you can never actually quantify. I promise I'm getting back to some. So, like, there is this very, like, core essence of things that you can never actually get to, at least in this plane of existence. So, like, the objectivity, it is something that you can kind of come around and figure out kind of the shape of what the essence of the turtle is. You can find, just like you can find the shape of what the objective appeal is of the art by looking through that subjective lens, if that makes sense. And at this point, I guess we should probably call it, because yeah, it's probably getting a little far. So hey, and maybe perhaps my babbling put you to sleep, which then you're welcome for curing your insomnia. So yes. So that was that was flying plus a lot of other things. So yeah, at this point the rabbit hole just gets deeper. Oh yeah, no, and so yeah, it and that's why it never actually ends. You never actually get to that bottom. You can only find that sort of shape of it. So yeah. Anyway, that was fun. I did. I really did enjoy that. So yeah, so thanks for indulging uh, my bull words I can't say because I'm a lady. Um, and yeah, hope you get some sleep. Sorry for keeping you up more. Um, and see you tomorrow. Kind, see you tomorrow thing. And yeah, have a good night. What our sleep? No, exactly. I keep telling myself I'm gonna do better, but yeah, doesn't work. Doesn't happen. So yes, thanks for being here. Thanks for chatting and indulging my rabbit holes and spider webs and stuff. And yeah, it was a really good time. Have a good night. And if I forgot anything else, I'm very sorry. Brain is mush. Only enough to babble about things that cannot be understood anyway. So yes, thanks. Yep. Oh, that escalated, but you see you tomorrow for the yeah, exactly. Oh yes, yes. See you tomorrow. So yeah, thank you and bye.